the cloud. I think I want to do cloud. I think I want to do cloud. Okay. All right, so recording from the cloud. We got people coming in. Ready? All right, we'll give it a few minutes for people to join here. It is March 6th here in Singapore as well. And as we mentioned, it is the 64th anniversary of Ghana, first country to be independent sub-Saharan Africa. All right. Okay. Jones, anybody else? You guys able to see the slides?
Oh yeah, we can see blockchain crypto webinar. We can see the slides, yes.
Welcome, Mina. Welcome again, Mina. We should be recording now. Yep. Got our chat. Kishi, if you can help me to monitor the chat as well. Make sure we're good on that side. Good on chat. Got 18 folks in so far. Please let us know where you're joining from in the chat, if you like. Okay. UK. I am here in Singapore, as is Kishi, and Sanjay is in Malaysia. Correct, Sanjay?
Hi, I'm from Malaysia.
Welcome, Nat. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome, Atlanta, California, Belgium, UK, Goa, India. Welcome. Singapore. India, MSG. Arizona. Welcome, Natasha. Bronx, New York. Welcome.
Boogie down Bronx.
Massachusetts. Welcome. Got Mo coming in. Welcome, Mo. Okay, Dr. Jones, Netherlands. Welcome. India. So let us know where you're from, where you're joining us from today. We'll give it a few more minutes for more people to join. We're actually not to midnight here yet, or 11 a.m. Eastern time. And let us know where you're joining from. Welcome. Mo, New York City, Nigel, welcome. Dorchester, Massachusetts, Joan, Mo.
Hey.
How you doing?
How you doing, Brother John?
Doing good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for hosting this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, welcome everybody.
Brussels, Belgium, welcome. Elizabeth, ready? Sister. California. Brussels. Jones, I think you joined again. And Netherlands. Okay, I'll give it another minute or two, and we'll kind of get into our intro here and get going. And I think recording is good. If anybody's having any, we should be good on
Yes,
video and
hi.
test it out.
Hello.
Let us know.
All right, who was that? Somebody wanted to say something?
No, I was just saying hi, Elizabeth. Hi, John.
Okay.
And we got Grace, welcome.
Can I ask something? Is Dr. Hanit joining this meeting?
She will join possibly later. This is actually her family day, so she usually doesn't join the Saturday sessions. But she said that she may drop in a bit later.
Okay.
Welcome, Rachel. Welcome, Kate. Vincent, Thema, C.
Hi, John. Good to see
Hi.
you. This is Dr. Beatrice here.
Hey,
Hi.
Rufus, how are you?
Doing great.
Okay, great. 34. Okay. And we are recording for anybody who just joined
Yeah,
us.
that's
Please do
fantastic.
hop into the chat box. Let us know where you're joining from. Okay. Franklin, welcome. New York, Madiha, welcome. UK, welcome Zipporah. Dallas, Texas, Patrice, welcome. Hopefully you guys are having, I think, better weather there now in Dallas. Nyanyo, London. Thank you. Baltimore, Maryland, Rachel, welcome. London, UK, welcome Eileen. George, Cleveland, Ohio. Synergy, Long Island, New York. Welcome. Myself and Kishi are in Singapore, and Sanjay is in Malaysia. So it is actually now the 7th for us. Welcome to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, brother John, I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Can I post this in ABA to remind folks? Is
Yeah,
that
please
okay with
go
you?
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks. Long Island, New York, Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome. Welcome, Courtney. Let us know where you're joining us from. Okay. Welcome, Hailey. Let us know where you're joining from today. All right, Botswana, right, see. Welcome. Net. And Astride. Welcome, Nat. Welcome, Astride. And Humphrey and Grady. I'll give like another minute or then I'm going to get going here. I'll leave it to you guys, Sanjay and Kishi, to keep the welcomes going there. Please let us know where you're joining from. And if you are not talking, please mute. Welcome, Hailey, Mexico, Ethiopia. Are you Mexico or Ethiopia, Hailey? Long way. Okay. Welcome. Huntsville, North Carolina. Huntersville, North Carolina. Welcome. Courtney from Houston, USA. Welcome, Courtney. Accra, Ghana. Welcome. OJ. Elizabeth from Connecticut. Welcome. George from Georgia. George. Houston, USA. Ready? Welcome.
If you're not talking, it'd be great if you could put your phone on mute. Thank you.
And Kishi, Sanjay, you guys can actually mute people. You're both co-hosts. If you see noise coming from a connection, then you can just go ahead and mute it.
Yeah.
Welcome from Germany. And Steve. Okay, that's the all right, I'm going to dive in, and we'll keep welcoming people. Type in where you're coming from in the chat. Welcome. I think we should have a pretty good number of people. We're almost to 50 here, and we have a lot. We had, I think, approaching 80 to 90 on the RSVPs. So I expect we'll have some more people joining as we go here. So welcome. I'm John Okoro, and this is our Wakanda blockchain and cryptocurrency meetup. We're doing an introduction with the Africa Business Academy with Dr. Harnett. So many of you are members of Africa Business Academy. And this session is going to be led by myself and Sanjay and Kishi. You can see our pictures there on the left. We'll introduce ourselves in just a minute. And we're going to be going through an introduction to cryptocurrency, blockchain, trading, investing, and hopefully everything you want to know to get started. And we'll also talk about why this is important. Okay? So we'll get into all of that. I think I may have to cut off my chat app. Anyway, so we'll get into all of that. 1 second. All right, and we will dive into that as well. So let's get going here. All right, just disclaimer. Those. So happy birthday. I think we do have somebody from Ghana here to Ghana. Oops, 64 years ago. Ghana, this was the first sub-Saharan country that was independent. And this is just, I think, the speech that was given. So I'll read that really quickly here. Reshaping Ghana's destiny, the two themes, and forging a new African identity. We must change our attitudes, our minds. We must realize that from now on, we're no more colonial, but a free and independent people. This also entails hard work. I'm depending on the millions to help me reshape the destiny of the country. We're prepared to pick it up and make it a nation that will be respected by every nation in the world. We know we're going to have difficult beginnings, but again, I'm relying upon your support, relying upon your hard work. We've awakened and will not sleep anymore. Today, from now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight for his own battles and show, after all, the Black man is capable of managing his own affairs. We are prepared to lay our own foundation, to create our own African personality and identity. It is the only way that we can show the world that we are ready for our own battles. Let us remember that nothing in this world can be done unless it is purport and support of God. We have won the battle, and we are again to rededicate ourselves. Our independence is meaningless unless it's linked up with the total liberation of Africa. And I like that this happens to be today for most of you, the 6th, because I do view the economics as a really important part of kind of that independence as well. As we get into blockchain and cryptocurrency, I think this is a really important topic for all of us. And happy birthday to Ghana. So let's go on. Okay, so my background, I'm John Okoro. I'm the director and CEO of Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, based in Singapore and the US. As well, with our partner company Scampay. I am a blockchain enthusiast, investor, and entrepreneur, and also host the Wakanda blockchain meetups, which is being hosted by Tonight, serial technology entrepreneur and entrepreneur. And I do the Auspicious Agile and Blockchain expert blogs on these topics. You might have seen one I just put out. You'll see some of those topics today on the growth of Bitcoin and its rising price. I've had about 13 plus years actually using agile and digital methods. I've been in technology for over 2 decades and started my career with Accenture in the US financial services. And I've also been the founder of digital practices for the US and Asia, and did a large scale program in digital transformation for Walt Disney in their pre-launch. And I've worked for Fortune 500, Global 1000s globally. And here in Asia, I've been based in Singapore for my 8th year here. I'm a certified trainer on different digital and agile methods, and have taught and trained in the National University of Singapore as well, and have a pretty robust network across the different regions. And I also lead the startup that is launching in Africa currently, and we'll talk about that at the end. I have a BS in Computer Science, Master's of Business Administration, and a Juris Doctorate, so I'm a lawyer, but don't hold it against me. Okay, so that's my background. I speak Spanish and some Mandarin. So let me let Kishi and Sanjay introduce themselves. So Sanjay, want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sanjay. I'm from Sri Lanka. I have 2 decades of experience in digital transformation, and since early 2020s, I've been very interested in blockchain technology, and now I consult to people in crypto investments, and been in Malaysia for 3 years, consulting in technology, and crypto and blockchain has become a passion since of late for me.
Right. And Kishi.
Sure. And I'm from Canada, currently based in Singapore. My main background is basically in treasury and capital markets for financial institutions. I work for financial institutions from my consulting perspective all over the world, including Toronto, New York, Chicago, Australia, London, Ireland, and with my recent work with DBS Bank, located in Singapore, I've managed to be able to visit various offices in Vietnam, India, China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and as I mentioned, working in Singapore. So it's been a very interesting time in the capital markets arena, specifically in the last 20 years. There's been a lot of changes, and there's only the changes only continue to accelerate, especially as more and more financial institutions start adopting the use of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency as a possible medium for facilitating various aspects of transactions, or to also provide investment services for wealth management clients. So as I said, my focus is basically on the business side with capital markets groups, focusing on implementing trading related projects for them.
Right, thanks, Kishi. So let's go in here and let's take a look at what we're going to cover today. Of course, our introduction, we're going to go to the economics of blockchain. As Dr. Harnett was talking about, for those of you in the ABA, there was kind of the idea around the Great Reset. We're going to talk about the economics and how this all ties to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. We'll talk about the applications and use cases. And then Kishi and Sanjay are going to take you through investing and trading in crypto. We're going to get a live demo. We're going to go through a little bit of regulation and law on it, just a little bit, not too much. And then we'll talk about the potential for African and developing markets and have some time for QA. We should be around 2 hours, but we'll stick around for a little longer if needed for any additional questions you guys might have. And we'll try to stop at the end of each of the main segments for questions too. Okay. All right, so the economics of blockchain. I'm going to play a little video for you here. Hopefully this will play fine.
When you want to buy something normally, using your normal bank card.
Everybody see okay?
I give my card details to the shop. The shop asks the bank if I'm good for the money. The bank checks its records to see if I've got enough in my account. If I do, it lets the shop know. It updates its records.
John, the sound went. I think you'll have to unmute your mic.
Everywhere.
Can you hear?
The idea is you don't
have
a record of transactions. Instead, you distribute many, many copies of this ledger around the world. Each owner of each copy records every transaction. So, to buy something using cryptocurrency, give the shop details. The shop asks all the bookkeepers if I'm good for the money. The bookkeepers all check their records to see if I have enough. If I do, they tell the shop and then all update their records to show the movement of money. So there's no way that a forged transaction can make it in. If I try to alter a ledger, it won't match all of the other copies. And it gets rejected. Oh, and one of them, at random, will be given a reward of some newly created. This is how cryptocurrencies work. And remember, all of these bookkeepers, all of these ledgers, they're not actually people, they're computers. Lots of computers.
All right, so that is how cryptocurrency works. Again, I want to remind you, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself. Okay. Just by yes in the chat box or no, how many of you have heard of the .com boom before? Happened about 2000 when we had all the .coms. Can you just type yes or no? Have you heard of the .com boom? Yes, 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 no. Oh yeah, yes, no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the .com boom is back in around 1999 when we had all of these companies like Amazon and Facebook and maids.com and pets.com and everything.com online. And probably 99% of those companies are gone, by the way, okay? But a few of them, obviously, are the biggest companies in the world now, like Amazon, like Google, like Facebook, right? So that's when a lot of these internet companies were born. And there are a lot of parallels of what we're seeing right now with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, right? We're seeing a lot. There's probably like over 8,600, I think if we check Coinbase is one of the sites we use, you'll probably see that later. Different currencies and tokens out there, right? Lots of projects, lots of initial projects. Some have failed, you know, we've had some that weren't so good, right? But we've had some that are really doing well, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. .com boom produced Google, Amazon, and Facebook, and some of the most valuable companies in the world. And we're probably going to see the same thing happen again with the boom here that is taking place now in Bitcoin and in the cryptocurrency space. There are some differences, of course, and these are interesting, right? One, the .com boom was centered in the US and Silicon Valley. I'm from California, so I know pretty well that was where a lot of this was happening, right? Blockchain and cryptocurrency is global. So you've got stuff happening in Africa, which is excellent, stuff happening in Europe, stuff happening in Asia, all around the world, in the US. So this is very global in nature, which is different. .com investment is pretty much limited to venture capitalists, where pretty much in institutional investors, where in cryptocurrencies, almost anybody can invest. You can see I did this slide a while ago because ICOs are not such a big thing now. We have exchange offerings that keep changing the names, but basically almost anybody can access these, where the .com investments are really limited to a very small group. So you can see this is very global and this is very accessible to just about everybody. Big differences. Okay. All right. So this is actually, I was talking about CoinMarketCap. This is from a few days ago. This changes constantly. Sanjay or Kishi, you can tell me what the latest price is. I think it's around 47,000. But you can see these are the prices of some of the top coins and projects: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. We're going to talk about the prices a little bit later, and you'll see that in the trading section. You can see some things are really expensive now, like Bitcoin, although you can still buy a fraction of it. And other things are a lot cheaper. So you can get Cardano, which does a lot of stuff in Africa now, actually, for like $1.27. You can buy XRP for 44 cents, depending on how their SEC lawsuit goes. And there's a lot of other prices. So there's a lot of price points in this. But the key thing is they all go together with Bitcoin. Generally speaking, that drives our market. Okay. Where we're going. So it's very likely we're going to see, like I said, the next Google, Amazon, and Facebook coming from this space. And probably we're going to see not only space in Silicon Valley, we're going to see them in Africa. We're going to see them in Asia, right? Binance is already getting to be huge, right? So you guys have heard of Binance before. There's a lot of companies like that that are actually starting to come out of Coinbase is very big in America, right? And a lot of these companies are starting to appear now as well. In addition, likely blockchain will become the money of the internet, or money 2.0. This is really big when we talk about the Great Reset that Dr. Harnett was talking about, right? There's a big move to digital currencies. A little scary, but also there's a big opportunity here. In fact, this is probably going to be one of the biggest shifts of generational wealth that we've seen definitely in our lifetime, and probably in multiple generations, actually. right? So there's a lot of money moving into this space right now. I think Bitcoin's market cap is well over $1 trillion right now, and it keeps growing. Okay, so there's a lot happening here. And if you guys can just help me to keep everybody muted so they're not talking. All right, let's go on here. So it's a big deal for the developed world. You're going to see a little later, this is a very different use case for the developed world versus the developing world, right? So in the developed world, right, if there's another great recession like we're kind of seeing now with 19, COVID, right, that, you know, that's slowing down a lot of economies, especially in the West. There's a lot of global impact to it. And what we're starting to see is a lot of money flowing into Bitcoin and other related digital assets. Regulation is, of course, a challenge, and a lot of countries are trying to figure it out. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And the move to digital assets is accelerating again because of COVID, right? So people are like, we want to get stimulus checks out in the US and we need to use digital assets because the checks are taking forever, right? That kind of thing. So there's a lot of move and shift now and energy going in this direction. And we can see that many markets already view this as a stock market 2.0. So again, just by yes or no, how many of you guys heard of Wall Street Bets about a month ago? How many of you guys heard of that? Wall Street Bets, the whole thing with GameStop? Yes or no? Yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so there was a bunch of people online on Reddit, which is kind of a social media platform, and they all basically bet against some of the big hedge funds, the big investors. And they were able to actually kind of take them down, for lack of a better word. But what happened is the regulators said, nope, you guys can't do that. They were playing by the rules, right? But they said, basically, you can't do that because you're taking down the big bank or you're taking down the big hedge fund. And therefore, what was it called? Robinhood, which is supposed to take from the rich and give to the poor, but they didn't do that. Robinhood basically stopped everybody from trading, right? And everybody's like, wow, this isn't fair. Why can't we trade, right? And so a lot of people actually, as part of that, actually started shifting over to cryptocurrencies and digital assets. You had Elon Musk come out saying, hey, get Dogecoin. I think there was a Super Bowl ad, though some people argue if it was an actual ad, but there was a Super Bowl ad for Dogecoin. A lot of people started moving into the crypto space as well. Now, that's not necessarily what's driving its rise right now, but a lot of people are viewing this as, okay, you know what? I can get access to these markets much more easily, and it's not necessarily rigged against me like people kind of felt like from the GameStop situation with Reddit, et cetera. You can look at more on that later. I won't go in detail. Okay, so many companies, you're going to see them coming up here: JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, New York Stock Exchange, MasterCard, Visa, Tesla, MicroStrategy, you name it. They're all moving in. They're buying Bitcoin. They're doing blockchains. They're doing all kinds of things. A lot's happening here. And all the banks have authorization to custody assets, which means now, in fact, like DBS, so Kishi, is they can now hold your basically Bitcoin or whatever it is for you if you want them to do that. That is available. And that's a big deal all across the US, Singapore here and other locations. Banks have the authorization. So they're getting into this game big time now. So you can see this is an older clip here, old president, but you can see that we have China and the US have both been moving in the direction of digital assets. China is a little ahead, I must say, right? China has launched their digital yuan. The most recent one is up here. If you can see that right on the right-hand side, China charges ahead. So now they're moving it out across the entire of China. China's already been using digital currencies in a very big way across the whole country. The US, not so much. But we obviously have Bitcoin and we have other regular cryptocurrencies that we are using in the US, even though they're not considered to be currency. They're considered to be property in the US. Okay. But China is moving very fast ahead, and that's pushing everybody because, you know, nobody, especially the US, doesn't want to fall behind China. And we can see here the rise of Bitcoin, right? So this is just a price chart, which is adjusted in the last few days, but you can see we were sitting down here like at a few $100s and a few $1,000s even a couple years ago, right? Now we're sitting at nearly $50,000. So you can see the rise of this thing, right? And this is a good little story. Back in 2010, a programmer purchased a pizza. It's one of the first purchases ever done with Bitcoin for 10,000 Bitcoin. So they paid 10,000 Bitcoin. In today's dollars, what is that, 5 million? I don't want to get that wrong. Let's add some zeros here. So that's 50, add 3 zeros, 50 million. Correct me if I'm wrong.
50 million, yeah.
Yeah, about $50 million for that pizza. Okay. That's one expensive pizza today. I hope they kept that Bitcoin. Anyway, you can see the price has been really going up, right? And you're going to see shortly when I go over the stock to flow, it's unlikely that's going to stop anytime soon. And this actually drives the whole market. Okay, so you can see that even though people go, oh, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. You can see there's lots of up and down, but that red line I've drawn for you there, it shows you the trend. And that trend is continually up, right? Now let's take a look here, right? Bitcoin price is a few days old as well. I think we're what, 47 guys, 47 something currently, right? So you can see the price movements and you can take a look at either CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. And I think Kishi and Sanjay will show you some of that shortly here. Okay, so everybody's jumping on board. Some newer ones, obviously Africa, there's a lot of stuff happening in the crypto space in Africa. You've got Tesla, Elon Musk here. You got Visa, PayPal, and MasterCard, which is really big. It means almost every credit card transaction now could be done connected to Bitcoin or crypto. That's a really big deal, right? You got, what's his name? The Shark Tank guy, Mark Cuban, and he's got his Mavericks accepting Dogecoin for their payments. Bank of America is on board. You got Fidelity, pretty much any and everybody. One of the funny stories that I'll tell was another one of the Shark Tank guys, Mr. Wonderful, they call him, Kevin O'Leary, who had been saying that you know, he's like, oh, Bitcoin, I think he called it a nothing burger for like 2 or 3 years. And then it came out like this week that he had been buying Bitcoin since 2017, which made a lot of people very angry, needless to say. But the bottom line is a lot of people have been buying into this market. And I think it's very important for Africa diaspora developing markets for us not to get left off of this bandwagon and to understand that a lot of big institutional money, that's why it's going up like this, because the institutions are coming in and they are really putting a lot of money into these markets. Okay. So why is it rising, right? Why is Bitcoin going up? Well, anyone, anywhere can send money to anybody else. I'll give you a story here. My sister's actually on the call, I think. We had a situation where we had a health crisis in the family, and I had to send some money to the US for my dad a couple of years ago. And I need to do that from Africa. Our dad's side of the family is from Nigeria. And we could not get the banking transactions to get done because it's such a pain to get money to go back and forth, especially to Africa. Okay? So we went to, you know, it took forever. And finally, I just sent some Bitcoin to my sister and it took like 10 minutes to get that done. That shows you the difference. Weeks and weeks and weeks trying to get a bank transaction through so we could send some money for a medical crisis, right? But instead, Bitcoin, 10 minutes. That's a really big difference, right? Not to be, you know, taken too lightly there. And this is a really big use case for Africa and the developing world. We'll talk about that shortly, because in the West, we can say, oh, this is an investment option. You can invest in it, which is true. But in the developing markets, this is huge because we're talking about something that can allow you to send life-saving money to a family member or prevent you from losing, you know, all of the money that you've saved because your currency goes flat, right? So there is a limited supply. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to be minted. Last one will be minted in 2140, I believe. There are no intermediaries, so you don't have to ask the bank. Like I don't have to ask the bank to do it. I can just send it to my sister, whoever it is. And it is stateless, meaning that no one country or company, nobody is able to control it. And trustless, which is kind of it sounds funny, but trustless means, like in that video we just saw at the beginning, I don't have to trust somebody else to say, hey, I'm sending this Bitcoin. The network automatically takes care of making sure that the transaction is authentic, right? And that's huge. So I can send money to Sanjay right now. He's like, yeah, send it, right? So I can send it to right now, and you know, I can trust the network to send it to him. I don't need to worry about whether this is an authentic, you know, transaction. Just make sure you don't send it to the wrong person because you can't get it back. That's the only thing, right? But other than that, you're good to go. Okay, so institutional adoption of Bitcoin. You can see DBS Bank here in Singapore is now, they have a crypto exchange, although I don't know if I can use it because I'm American, and because we have so many regulations, we have a hard time getting access, but I think other people will be able to use it. Okay, we have the $2 million in Bitcoin treasury here. There's another one that just came up. Canada now has an ETF. I think Kishi's going to discuss this later. for Bitcoin, and the use of stable coins by federal banks in the US has been approved, right? So across the board, you're seeing huge institutions taking this up. And if you're not paying attention, you won't notice. You'll think, oh, well, you know, this is not really for anybody to use. But what's happening is all these big institutions are approving it, using it, integrating it into their ecosystem. That's why it's nearly $50,000 right now. Okay. And that's why it will probably be much more shortly. And this is why I tell you it's much more. You can watch the video. I did a video blog. I can give you a link to it later about stock to flow. But this is a chart. It goes all the way back to 2010. You can see back in 2010, this basically compares the amount of Bitcoin being produced to the amount that is going to ever be available. And it gives you a number, right? And you can kind of compare it to gold. So this number tells you what the value should be. So you can see in about 2021, this model is telling us that Bitcoin should be sitting somewhere around $50,000, which is accurate, right? You can see the model is telling us in 2022 that it'll probably sit around $100,000. There are a lot of predictions of 200. Again, not financial advice, just telling you what the model says, okay? And then if you look further here in 2024, which is our next halving, this is saying that it'll probably be sitting about $1 million for Bitcoin, okay? So if you think, oh, well, you know, the price rise is done, that's unlikely. And the reason I say that, if you look historically, this model has been very accurate, okay? This model has not been off over the last 10, 11 years. So there is likely, and the reason is, if you think about the dollar is devaluing because we keep printing it. We're printing more and more money for relief and stimulus, right? Printing more and more money. You also have challenges to the dollar, like the digital yuan from China. And so what's happening is that dollar is not worth so much anymore. It used to be worth a lot, but they just keep printing it and printing it and printing it, right? How is that going to be worth anything? If anybody's ever heard the story of what happened like in Argentina, okay, all of a sudden their currency became worth almost nothing. Now we hope that doesn't happen to the dollar, but the reason Bitcoin is going up is because it's a limited supply. It's written in the code, and everybody knows that, you know what, this is basically what we call a deflationary currency or deflationary unit store of value. So even when your dollars keep going down in value because they keep printing more, this is not doing that, okay? Very important to keep in mind. So you can see here, I probably have to adjust this in the last day, but Bitcoin's up over roughly 700% in the past year, and over 1,100% was my last count from March of 2020, which was a low last year. So you can see, I don't think that there's anything else you're going to invest in that was going to raise in price this way. And even if you didn't buy Bitcoin, right, you could have bought one of the others, like you could have bought Litecoin, you could have bought, you know, Cardano, one of these. A lot of these have also, because when Bitcoin goes, they all start to track up. So don't think, oh, well, I don't have 50,000 for Bitcoin. You could buy like a fraction of one, or you could buy one of the altcoins. I don't personally recommend buying the cheap ones that are like number 5,000, okay? But if you buy like the top 10 or the top 15, you're probably okay. And probably do your own research and get some advice. You can join. We also have a Telegram group for the Wakanda blockchain meetup, so feel free to join that. We can give you a link later. And or if Sanjay or Kishi, if you have that link for the Telegram group, you want to put that in the chat, that'd be great. So we have discussions of this all the time. So if you have a question, you can ask it, etc. Okay. This is some performance from last year. Again, as they would say in investment, etc. You know, the past performance is no predictor of future performance, and that's true. But let's just look at where we were last year. So Celsius, I didn't invest in that, but that's 3,584% return. Theta was 1,928% return. Chainlink was 540%. Where's our Bitcoin? 302%. Okay, VeChain. You can see the kind of returns we're seeing here. If you had your money in a bank account, you made 0.001%, or in some cases, negative interest. So pretty big difference, right? And there's some other things like staking. I think I'm talking about it, you guys are talking about that, but we'll talk about that coming up. Okay, so what are some of the use cases? Actually, let me just see if there's any quick questions before I go to the next section. Any quick questions on that? I'll take one or two before we go on to the, is the benefit of Bitcoin is that it's boundless, countryless, etc. What is the benefit of purchasing an ETF of Bitcoin? That's a great question, Elizabeth. So some people are nervous about going directly into Bitcoin right? They want to have it like in their retirement fund. They want to have it in their stock account. And so an ETF is beneficial if you want to keep it in your IRA, for instance, right? Or you want to invest in it that way, you could buy an ETF. You could do that, right? So that is an option. Although some people do direct, I think, for Bitcoin now. There's a lot of options coming on. I think Kishi will talk about this a little more too, and so will Sanjay. But certainly, I do think it is wise to keep some that is your own. As they say in the crypto space, not your keys, not your crypto, right? And that means basically if you don't have the keys to, well, this is what you're saying, it's not really yours. So that fund could sell it and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So keep that in mind. What is an ETF? Okay, Darren, good question. ETF is an exchange traded fund. I will leave that for Kishi, who's gonna take you much deeper into that in a few minutes. Okay. And a direct message. Yeah, I will talk about Nigeria later, Terrence. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and others. We know Bitcoin is a store of value. Digital gold is kind of the use case. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not fast. It's not fast enough, right? And I like to give this example, right? So you got gold. Even though actually in Congo, they just found a mountain full of gold, interestingly, right? So that's how much gold is still out there. But it's digital gold. Now, if somebody gives you gold and they go, well, you know what? Platinum is actually much shinier and much lighter weight. You can build a lot of stuff with platinum. Would you trade your gold and give it to people for the platinum instead? Who would do that? Who would say, you know what? The platinum is shinier, it's lighter weight, and I can make it into more stuff. I think I'm going to take the platinum. I don't want the gold anymore. Who would do that? No, right? You're not going to do that. Why? Because the gold is gold, right? And that's kind of the way Bitcoin operates. Bitcoin is effectively the gold in this market. Now, will that change ever in the future? I don't know. Nobody it has a crystal ball, but I would say it's unlikely in the near term that's going to happen. Okay. Ethereum is kind of like the distributed computer. It does smart contracts. It was basically a fork originally from Bitcoin, and it gives you the ability. It's the second highest market cap. I believe it still is. And it is used for so many other tokens, so many other coins. So many people use this. So Ethereum is a pretty safe bet. It's like around $1,500 right now. If you don't want to spend all the money on a Bitcoin, you might be able to get Ethereum, a good option. And again, it's used as a smart contract and for lots and lots of projects. Okay, I will leave that theme of your question, Sanjay, if you can note that for your trading section. Ripple, XRP, this is the banking industry coin, right? They're not really truly a decentralized coin, to be honest with you. They're kind of owned by different nodes from that company, but it probably will at some point replace the Swift network if that stays relevant. They are in lawsuit with the SEC right now. We'll see how that works out, but I think either way, they're probably going to win, because if they lose and they say they're a security, well, they'll probably pay their fine and their coin will go up. And if they win and they say they're not a security, their coin will go up. So I think it's likely they're going to end up winning, but we'll see what happens. Okay, Cardano. This one is an alternative to Ethereum. I think it's number 3 coin at this point. Again, I'm just going by memory right now. And it's really popular for financial inclusion. I think they're working with Ethiopia right now. So highly, you're on there. And the Cardano project is doing a lot of African projects right now. So I like this one. Stellar's another one. I'll talk about that in a bit later. Monero is a privacy coin. It's untraceable. Governments and law enforcement do not like coins like this because they can't trace it, right? So they don't like it. But it's out there and it's still hanging in there. I think it's still in the top 20 or 30 or something. Okay, Facebook Libra coin. They rebranded it. They now call this coin DM, like seize the day, I guess. Okay, it's backed by a basket of currencies. Facebook is effectively trying to, I think, like take on China. They're trying to become like the, for all the, how many users they have on Facebook? 2 billion? I don't know what it is. A lot of people. Okay, so these guys, Mark Zuckerberg, is trying to effectively become the bank of Facebook using this coin. Now, if you want to put all your money, can you mute, Courtney? Thanks. Okay, so they are trying to become basically the bank of Facebook, if you will, If you want to put all your money in Facebook, I think that's up to you. If you want them to control your money, I don't think I would personally put all my money there. Maybe I get a few coins if I'm going to do something on their platform. But that is a big one. Regulators have been looking at it, but the regulators seem to be pretty happy right now. They seem to really be liking this, so they must have some kind of deal in place with Facebook at this point. So I don't hear them fussing like they used to, right? They used to be much more angry about this, as you can see. Maxine Waters.
Has DM launched yet?
What's that?
Has DM launched yet?
Have they lost?
Launched.
Oh, I don't know if it's officially launched. I think they're still working with their consortium. So I think it's still in development, as far as I know. Anybody have any other update on that, Sanjay? Or anything about DM?
Yeah, it's still not launched. There is still things going on there, going into approval. So it will take some time.
Yeah. So they've been doing this for the last year and a half, I think. Kishi, we had one of our last physical meetups. We were still talking about this one, I believe.
They're looking at launching it this year. Where US, regulation-wise, it's being tougher and tougher.
That's true. So not yet. It'll get out there, I think, at some point. How it will compete, like I said, there's no way I personally would put all my investments into this versus a Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is free and open. This is controlled by one company or a consortium of companies. But you have to choose how you, what currencies you use. So, that's something you have to decide. Okay, so here we go. Central bank digital currencies. We were talking about this with Dr. Harnett, how the central banks are talking about the Great Reset and what they're going to do. So they're basically trying to get on board with all these digital currencies, right? So they're trying to say, you know what, we are going to also, have a digital currency. Frankly, the central banks are way behind, okay? Way behind. I don't think they're building any unique currency. They're going to probably just use Bitcoin or digital yuan or Ethereum or something like that, okay? They don't really have a choice because they're so far behind. They're not going to rebuild the blockchain or reinvent the wheel, okay? So you can see they're working on this. The difference between theirs and a Bitcoin is theirs is going to be controlled, so they can have full control of the transactions of their coin and currency, versus a Bitcoin, which is basically a free and open currency, or an Ethereum or other cryptos. So that's the big difference here. Same thing with the digital yuan, actually, which effectively is like a Chinese central bank digital currency, right? That would probably be the first central bank digital currency that's out live in the wild right now. And then cross-border transfers, we talked about Ripple, which is like the corporate coin for banks. Stellar is its kind of free cousin, which is kind of, I think, one of the founders of Ripple went and started Stellar. They do a lot of projects with Africa as well. They have, this just talks about some of the differences. Stellar, I think Akon's Acoin, we'll talk about a little bit later. That is based on Stellar, I believe, as well. So Stellar is an interesting one. It is open though, that's a big difference, where Ripple is really more in the Ripple company, and then in there, they have certain nodes. So one of the key things of a cryptocurrency is that it's free, it's open, and it's decentralized. Ripple is not really that decentralized, where Stellar is supposed to be. Okay. And then we have what's called DeFi. This has been a big kick in the last several months, 6-12 months, where you have things like MakerDAO. Basically, the idea is you can put your money on, you can use like Exodus Wallet or BlockFi or all these different platforms, and you can make interest. Right now, what kind of interest are you guys getting in your bank account?
No, I've not been able to get it.
Francis, can mute. Thanks. Okay, so just in the chat box, what kind of interest rates are you guys getting in your bank accounts right now? 1%. Wow, that's excellent, Mata. That's very good. What kind of interest rates are you guys getting? 0, 0.1, 0.5%. Nice, Kishi. All right, so most people are getting like almost nothing. Yeah, Thema right there, Darren, 0.012. Okay, so when you are, let's say you're staking Cardano, that's like 5%, I think you get on that. Some are like 7%. You can do Neo. There's quite a few other coins, Tezos. There's many coins, and when you stake them, you're getting 5%, 7%. These are the kind of interest rates that people used to get long ago in banks, right? That's not happening anymore. So this is a way that you can actually make money with your crypto without selling it, and without getting taxed because you're not selling it, right? So good option. I think, I'm not sure if you guys are gonna talk about that a little more in the next section too, right? US banks now have the green light. We talked about the custody. This is a big deal because before banks were like, oh, we don't know if we can touch it. We can't do anything with crypto. Now they can, right? So banks across the US, they can store crypto for you. Now the downside is, like I said, not your keys, not your crypto. They can store it for you. But if any of you were around in the 2008, 2009 Great Recession, a lot of us didn't get access to our retirement accounts, access to our bank accounts, access to a lot of things. In fact, that's why we have the crypto market today. So excellent that you can store your crypto at the banks. Just keep in mind that what you store there, you don't necessarily have full control of. So not your keys, not your crypto, but still it is an option for you. Okay, tokenization of real assets. This is a pretty cool one. Not NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So these are unique tokens, right? I've heard of a lot of music artists lately doing this in art, digital art, being done with non-fungible tokens. You can get gold, you can get real estate, right? And these tokens represent a unique piece of that artwork, a unique piece of, I guess, music. I'm not sure how the musicians are doing it, right? And when you buy that, you own it. Like in Singapore, there's a place, Imdxx, I think it's one of the ones up here. And you can actually go to the safe where they hold the gold and you can see which one you represents your token, okay? Great, okay. And these are what we call non-fungible tokens, so they're unique. Where like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum is not a unique token per se, that it represents only one particular item. This can be tied to one physical item, and therefore, whenever you get that token, you're getting that part, like of land or real estate or some other asset. So this is what we call a non-fungible token. And it is a very good use case as well. And then we have stable coins. I do not spend a lot of time in stable coins, but basically they are worth $1 or whatever currency they represent. So USDT, which is Tether, is very popular. USDC is used on Coinbase a lot. There's a lot of these, especially US dollar stable coins. Now, here's the thing. The US dollar is devaluing. So if you leave all your money in stable coins and crypto, you're kind of missing the point, right? Because you're going down with the fiat currency in value. So that's not awesome. The only time I would really use a stable coin is if I'm taking some money out of the crypto market and I need to kind of mark it to the regular fiat. So I'd get some USDC or USDT until I can sell it and get it to a regular fiat bank account, right? But I would not leave my currency for the long term in stable coins. I think the one use case where you might want to do that is if you want to just like stake it or earn some interest on it. You can get better interest rates than you get in the bank account using a stable coin. Okay. So it looks like there's a ton of questions. Maybe we'll take one or two before we go into the next section. Kishi, I saw you type in there. Were there some questions you want to tackle?
Yeah, somebody was asking about the term stakem. Could you just explain what that means? The term staked.
Sorry, did you catch that?
Stake?
I think you're breaking up. I'm not catching it. Can you type it?
So what does staking mean?
Oh, staking, thank you. Gotcha. Okay, so staking, effectively what you're doing, let's go back up here. It's like when you get a certificate, remember the old bank accounts, we get certificate deposit, right? So you go put a CD in there, like you leave it in here for 12 months or 2 years, and we'll give you like 2%. That's not happening anymore, but they used to do it, right? Now you're getting like 0%, but that's what staking is. So you say, I'm putting my coins in for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And they say, as you lock up your coins, you will then get 4%, 5%. So just think of it like a crypto certificate deposit. Does that make sense?
It's staking also gives liquidity to each of the currencies. If you look at Ethereum, the new Ethereum project, which is Ether 2.0, is moving away from mining and they're looking at staking. So if you want to be a miner, you need to stake 32 ETH at the moment. So that is going to be the future also, because it's giving liquidity to the pool and also making miners more responsible, because if you do mistakes, you can lose your stake. So those I'll touch upon those in my investment section. We'll go further.
Does that answer the question on staking? We will get more detail on that in the next section. If you lose your keys when you stake, yeah, that's going to be a problem. You are your own bank, so if you lose your keys, you're in trouble. Don't lose your keys. Okay, so if you have a bank, can I go over Bitcoin being decentralized with the exchanges being centralized? Yes, that's a great point. Okay, so Bitcoin is decentralized. You can hold it, I can hold it. We can all have our own Bitcoin in our own wallet, whatever you use, right? There's cold wallets, hard wallets. I think they'll cover that a little bit in the next section. But if you leave it on Coinbase or Binance, that exchange is a centralized exchange that is controlled by that company. So it is centralized, meaning it's not like, oh, it's wherever, it's in that company, in their basically exchange wallet. It's like me putting it in the bank, right? So exchange, you can almost think of them like the new banks in that way. I don't leave cryptocurrencies on exchanges for the most part because it's just better to put it in your own wallet. However, I think actually Coinbase, Lolly, answering your question, I think they actually Coinbase has started staking now. Sanjay, what is the Coinbase staking? I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I just answered yes, you can stake in Coinbase.
What coins?
It depends on the projects. So you can stake depending on the projects that are available. I'll give them an example during the trade thing to talk about staking.
Okay, so Lolly, and it looks like we'll get into the next section here, but I'll answer that question. Can you stake with your own wallet? Yes. So things like Exodus wallet, there you can do staking there, right, with multiple coins. I think they have like 7 or 8 different projects right now that allow for staking. They're adding all the time. There's a lot of different wallets you can do where you can do your own staking, where it's not on an exchange. So yes. Abra. Okay, I am going to hand it to Sanjay and Kishi because they're going to go into this a lot more. So do you want to take over presenting, Sanjay?
Yes, you can stop. I can start presenting my screen.
Okay, go ahead.
Can everyone see my, John, can you see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. All right. Clear?
Yep.
So I will just take you through a quick roundup of the key terms when it comes to blockchain. And on the right-hand side of your screen, the whole idea of blockchain is there. So the advantage of blockchain is everyone has a public key and a private key, right? This is an example of a public key. I can know anyone's public key. It is not a security threat because without knowing my private key, nobody else can access my coins or my wallet or my security stored in any even an exchange. The exchange holds a private key of their coins because we are actually giving our money, but most of these exchanges have very secure passwords. So as long as you protect them, nobody can have this. So in the simple way of blockchain is that I want to send some money to John. I will get John's public key, and then I will transfer the money to John's public key. Then the miners will verify that my public key has the funds to get to John, and then miners will approve that. Whoever did the transaction, will get paid. That is how miners will get paid, and John will receive the money. In the present scenario, Bitcoin takes 10 minutes and Ethereum takes about 5 seconds to 5 minutes because it is a bit more, the transactions per second is faster on Ethereum. The wallet is what you save your coins in, right? Your assets, and you can use it to send and receive your cryptocurrencies. The other one is the address is hash between 26 to 35 numeric. This is what I've shown you. It's a security code. Exchanges is where customers who want to buy and sell cryptocurrency assets can exchange all their digital tokens there. So they also act as a central source for your fiat currencies. So at the moment, exchanges are the bridge between the crypto world and the fiat world. Fiat is what in the we call the normal currencies that you are used to. Then investing strategies. So what are there are 4 investing strategies. One is hold on, right, to your buy and hold. So it's long term. For example, if you're buying Bitcoin and you're not trading, let's say you want to make it an investment, you will buy it, you will put it into your wallet, and then you will forget about it. And hopefully you will always remember your private key, because there are over 1 million Bitcoins lost at the moment in the world. And so if you are storing it, make sure that you have written down your passwords. So because there is no one you can go and complain to if you have lost the password. It is remember, you are your own bank. There's no one to tell you that. And then the next one I will show you is if you want to earn passive income, right? As John mentioned earlier, you can earn somewhere between 7 to 10% in some of these projects. I will show you these projects when I give the live demo, and there are a lot of flexible options, locked options to have this passive income. The next one is trading. Trading can be done with spot and futures. So spot is where, let's say I have Bitcoin, and Bitcoin rose recently, going over $50,000. And when you know the Bitcoin is coming down, I'll again show you how you know it's coming down. You quickly sell it, right? You either sell it to, you convert it into Tether, right? Either if you're in Binance, you convert it into BUSD or USDT, any of those. And then when the price comes down, for example, it went down to 43,000, you again buy the Bitcoin, right? Before it goes up again. So you are making gains each time. You're getting more Bitcoins each time that you buy and sell. I'll show you some examples of that, like where I made from 0.3 Ethereum, I made one full Ethereum in 6 days. So that is the advantage of spot trading. It is pretty safe compared to futures. Futures is more a long-term bet where you in stocks, you bet the future value, and then depending on what you enter the market in, you can earn money. Recently, close to $150 million were lost when Bitcoin crashed overnight, the largest crash of $10,000 a couple of weeks back. So all the people who bet on the futures lost all their contracts because it crashed so fast, right? So that is the danger of futures trading. But yes, you can make a lot of money there because you're not staking most of your assets there, but a portion, and you have a margin which you can get more than what you own. So the next one is ETFs. I will get Kishi to do that part, and then I will give you an example of trading. Any questions at this point? Okay, Kishi, you can take it over.
Actually, Sanjay, we got one or two in the comments if you want to take those.
Oh,
Elizabeth
okay.
says, going back to the question, if you stake on Etfs or Coinbase, you lose the rights to your private keys.
Yes, when you what you realize is when you put your money in an exchange, it is no longer your coin. It is the exchange's coin. So if the exchange gets hacked or something of that nature, you can lose your coin. This is what happened to Bitcoin in 2017. One of the largest exchanges got hacked and people lost, there were about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 2 million or 25 million worth of Bitcoins were lost. So this kind of thing can happen. So this is why when you are trading in Bitcoin, you have three strategies. One is hold on to some of your coins, put it in your wallet and keep it, and you trade with a portion of this. So that way, even if an exchange gets hacked, the chances are that you have a saving and you won't lose everything. The other thing is ensure that you use a proper exchange. I will again touch on that after Kishi's explanation on ETFs. Then exchange to buy, sell, these are the cryptos you can Coinbase, Cosmos. Also remove from exchange is better to stake with hardware. So Marcus, to answer your question, if you want to remove from the exchange, is it better to stake with hardware or software? Hardware is the safest, right? Because it is like a USB. It is not connected to the internet. Only thing you can, if you lose your hardware wallet, you've lost your currency, right? So you have to be very careful of your hardware wallet. But you can back up even the hardware wallet. There are backup phrases. So in case you lose your wallet, because remember, Bitcoin or any of these any currency is never lost. It's always in the chain, right? It is not like any other thing where they lose your value. It is always there. As long as you can claim it, it will be yours. So that's the advantage of any of these cryptocurrencies. So let's say you lose your wallet and still you have kept your passwords safe. When you buy the new wallet, you enter your passwords, the amount that you had will be there. So that is the safety of having a wallet. Software wallets, yes, they're getting popular. MyEther wallet, and there are a few software wallets. But again, the risk of that is if your computer gets hacked, you can have an issue there. And I will touch on the password security and that when I speak about trading. You can collect gains without selling your shares and coins. Yes, you can, Lolly, like with stocks, you can collect gains without selling your shares or coins. You can stake it, which I will speak about, which I'll give you an example. I mine on crypto browser. When I wanted to withdraw funds, it would not allow me. We need to check what that is when you mine, Thema. If you can explain that a little bit more, because your question is not clear. Thema?
Who's the question addressed to?
To me.
Hello? Yes. It would not. Yes. When it comes time to withdraw funds, it won't allow me to withdraw the funds.
Okay. What?
It says it's not enough BTC. I'm confused.
Oh, okay.
It says, yeah.
So you have staked your coin on BTC and it's not allowing you to. Okay, you are mining on crypto tab browser, right? Again, if you're mining, what happens is it depends on each of these mining pools that you're involved in. You have to check the rules, because I personally do not mine, but if you are mining, you need to check the rules of the mining pool that you're involved in, because it could be that though, because I know some mining pools do not release the funds for like 30 days. So it could be something like that. And I can check this for you later and connect with you with more details on CryptoTab. So it could be a reason because of the contract that you are signed with CryptoTab.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Kishi, you can take on the ETF section and share the screen.
Sure, I can. And Sanjay, John, you can hear me okay?
Yes, you're very clear.
All right, bear with me while I share my screen. Should be this one. And let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So ETFs, just to provide a little bit of background, John and
Kishi, just press present because then it becomes full screen.
Okay, so
present button on the top. It must be covered with the video section. That's why.
You know what? I'm having trouble seeing the present
Yeah,
button.
that's because the people's list must be covering the present button. You need to minimize the list of people.
You're going to have to bear with me because
okay.
I am not able to see. I thought it was just click on new share and then I select.
That's right. But you can't see the present button because it on your screen we can see.
Okay, you want to maybe just drive? Do you want to share the slides for him?
I think I'll share the slides for you.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, so let me stop sharing.
Oops, sorry, hold on. I just closed it by mistake. Sorry, guys, hold on.
No worries.
Good day, all. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good, good.
Happy to be here.
Great to have you here.
Thanks.
And where are you joining from?
I'm here in Los Angeles.
All right, great. We're just waiting for Sanjay to open up the slides, and I'm going to be doing a presentation, brief presentation on ETFs, exchange traded funds.
Done. Hold on.
Sanjay, if you're, do you let me know if you need me to do it or if you're good?
No, it's right. I've done that. You can see it now?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Not on yet.
Right, yeah, I can share. Sorry. Okay.
It's coming up slowly.
Yep.
Right.
I see it.
All right, maybe I'm having problems with my connection because my.
Yeah, your first slide is up.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I do see it now. Okay. Yep, I do see it. Bear with me. All right, I can see it. So I will start. ETFs. ETFs stand for exchange traded funds. What are ETFs? ETFs are like securities. They are traded on the regulated stock exchanges around the world. And for the most part, ETFs tend to be a tracking of a basket or an index of stocks. So for example, we've all heard of the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. Let's use the S&P 500 as an example. has 500 different stocks. So as opposed to individuals buying 500 stocks, you can buy what's referred to as the exchange traded fund on the S&P 500. And what that does is that it gives you a portion, an invested portion on the S&P 500, so that you can actually participate in the growth of the S&P 500, and the individual share that you're buying, its valuation will increase and decrease as the valuation on that index increases and decreases. Bear with me. Okay, so although you have ETFs on an index, you also have ETFs on a subset of the index. So it's possible that the issuing company that issues the ETF could say, you know what we'll do, we'll put together a basket on technology stocks, or we'll put together a basket on financial institutions, banks. We'll put together a basket of stocks on, let's say, pharmaceuticals or tourism. So you can get specific ETFs for different sectors of the markets. And again, they're traded the same way as a stock would be, similar to a mutual fund. They are listed on the different exchanges around the world, and they can be bought and sold immediately, similar to a stock. And you can actually track the price of that individual ETF, exchange traded fund, on the various platforms that actually provide prices for the respective ETF. Can we go to the next slide? Okay.
I've changed the next slide.
All right, thank you. And we also have what's referred to as blockchain ETFs. Now, these are not crypto-based ETFs. They're ETFs that what the issuing company does is that they own stocks in business operations that have some investments in blockchain technology. So the underlying companies of that ETF are companies that are participating in blockchain technologies. And the three main blockchain ETFs currently are BLOK, Block, BLCN, and LEGR. You can refer to that as Ledger. And next slide, please. Okay, so for the blockchain ETFs, Block, BLOK, invests in stocks that are engaged in the development or utilization of blockchain technologies. So again, Block, similar to BLCN, LEGR, what the issuing company has done is that they've decided to take a number of existing regulated companies, and they've created a basket of those stocks, and they allow users to be able to participate within the increased valuation of that specific basket. BLCN tracks an index, similar to what Ledger does. An index is defined similar to the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, or the NASDAQ, where you've got a broad-based number of companies that are within each of the indices. And in this case, BLCN tracks the NASDAQ Blockchain Economy Index, which gauges the performance in companies involved in the developing, researching, supporting, innovating, utilizing blockchain technology. And Ledger, similar to BLCN, also tracks a defined index, and this is the Imdxx Blockchain Index, which also gauges the companies that are actively utilizing or positioned to benefit from blockchain technology. And this has the benefit, as opposed to individuals going out and, let's say there are 50 different companies that are involved or actively involved in either supporting, facilitating blockchain technology, as opposed to individuals deciding, should I buy these 3, should I buy these 5? What you can do is you can buy the whole, you can get access to the whole index by buying that specific ETF. And next slide, please. And that takes us to Bitcoin ETFs or possibly crypto ETFs. And a crypto ETF would be such that the issuing company would say, we're going to put together a basket of crypto assets, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ripple, Doge, and each of those stocks would have a defined weighting. They may say that Bitcoin will represent 50% of the basket, Ethereum might represent 20% of the basket, Ripple 10% of the basket, Doge the remaining amount. So you have a basket of stocks, crypto assets that, again, individuals would have the simple way of being able to participate within the market. Now, Bitcoin ETFs are something relatively new, and they allow investors to be able to invest in Bitcoin without going through the hassle of using cryptocurrency exchanges, without having to consider how you're actually going to store the actual asset, whether you use the different types of wallets that are involved, and the whole custodial aspect of owning the underlying is actually managed by the issuer of that ETF itself. So the individual doesn't actually have to physically take ownership. They don't have to worry about the security aspect of it. All they can do is just simply buy the ETF, and then once again, similar to other ETFs, they can actively participate in the rise, hopefully the rise, as well as the downside, the fall of the underlying asset, underlying crypto security, as in this case, it would be Bitcoin. The advantages are convenience. For the less sophisticated investors who aren't familiar with the different aspects of managing, owning, securing cryptocurrencies, all this is, as I mentioned earlier, is being actively managed by the issuing company. Diversification. Traditionally, there are four main assets that individuals will usually invest in: stocks, bonds, properties, and precious metals. As there has been an explosion in terms of the interest in crypto assets, this gives individual investors an ability to diversify by adding exposure to crypto, and making it relatively easy and convenient to participate within the crypto market. Tax efficiency, similar to how the tax reporting has matured for the main assets that I mentioned before: stocks, bonds, properties, and precious metals. They will take that tax reporting and be able to apply it to the ETFs, so that it makes it relatively straightforward for the individual holders of the ETFs to be able to report the taxes, the capital gains, and unrealized gains as well to the relevant tax authorities. Disadvantages: similar to all other ETFs, there are management fees, and the management fees is basically a fee that's paid to the issuing company to actively manage the fund. And for the most part, ETFs management fees usually range between 0.5% to 2%, depending on the ETF itself. And those rates are not unreasonable. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that you will have to forfeit a small amount for the benefits of having someone else manage the holding of the crypto asset. It's government regulated. If anyone's looking for anonymity in terms of being able to transact in cryptocurrency, which is actually becoming harder and harder to do, but if that is the case, there is no anonymity, because the underlying companies, if you're buying the ETFs on a brokerage, the broker or the underlying company that issued the ETF will have to report the buys and sells to the respective government authorities, either the Securities Exchange Commission or the Revenue Authority for that country. And the purchases of the ETFs can only be done in fiat currencies, which are dollar, pound, yen, all the traditional currencies that we're all familiar with. And it's the case that you won't be able to buy the ETF with a cryptocurrency. You can't use Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple or Doge to buy those ETFs. They have to be bought with fiat currencies. Okay. And next slide. So in terms of the Bitcoin ETFs, this is relatively new, and I am Canadian, and coincidentally, which is a little bit hard to believe, that the only globally recognized exchange-traded Bitcoin ETFs are both listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange, specifically the Toronto Stock Exchange. And the two ETFs are BTCC and EBIT. You can see the prices of those. If you have a trading application, be it TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, Interactive Brokers, you're able to actively track the price of those two ETFs. And those two ETFs, the rise and fall in valuation will exactly mimic the rise and fall in the Bitcoin itself. In terms of pricing, usually the underlying issuer will define an initial price. So let's say they define the initial price of BTCC as $10. And actually, I think it was actually issued as $10, such that if, let's say Bitcoin increases in value by 20%, BTCC will increase by 20% as well. So it'll go from $10 to $12. So the rise and fall of these ETFs will exactly match the rise and fall in Bitcoin. Okay, and that ends my presentation on ETFs.
So Kishi, it looks like you have a question from Lali.
All right.
Your hand raised.
Bear with me 1 second. Let me just go to there so I can see the question. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties. Give me 1 second.
No problem. I think, Lali, do you want to go on audio or?
Okay, can someone read the question to me? Because my
Actually, it's just a hand raised. Lali, do you have a question or are you just raising your hand? Lali J. Is raising your hand.
Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah.
All right, let's carry on then. I'm gonna pick up sharing here. Let me reconfigure my screen for a second so see everything else I have going on here. Hang on 1 second.
Okay, it's still my share. This part I'm taking on. Right?
Oh, you have more to go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Right. So going into, someone asked, okay, how do you follow the market? So we are going back into investing, right? Giving small CoinGecko and Coindesk, Messari, and Twitter. Actually, Twitter is quite interesting. I got active on Twitter when I got into trading, because a lot of these companies tweet, including Elon Musk, right? So on crypto. CoinGecko, if you look at it, it always gives you a good idea of the top projects which are going on. I'll give you a little example of how to maneuver this site as well. Then the next one, I think Lily, if I'm not mistaken, you asked how do you track the market, right? TradingView is a very good software to use, which you can track the markets using candles and how the market movement is, the highs and the lows. So this I actually teach in my crypto trading class, where you really understand when to buy at the lows and sell at the highs, and to play the market on spot trading. Then the exchanges. So there are many exchanges now, and since most of you are from majority, I think, are from the US, you need to check which are the ones that are available in the US. I know Binance US is pretty popular, but you can't trade because the reason is due to regulations. Some of these cannot be used in the US, but Kraken, Coinbase for sure, and crypto.com you can use. And also the large C2C at the moment, Binance is the largest exchange. It is available as Binance US. The new entry to the market is actually decentralized exchanges, which I think someone asked, okay, the danger of having your liquidity in a centralized exchange is there. So decentralized exchanges are getting popular, Uniswap being the number one in the decentralized exchanges, where you basically stake directly from your wallet, right? So you do not give the money to the exchange. It is directly you connect your wallet to the exchange, and then so you trade with your public key. So that is getting popular, but still catching on. Yes, question? Someone raised the hand.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Could you clarify some of the reasons why only certain platforms allow you to purchase certain coins or deal with certain wallets?
Deal with certain wallets?
So I've noticed that certain platforms require you to have a particular wallet to transaction.
Yes, because each wallet has different chains, right? So ERC20 is Ethereum, right? Now, if that exchange, for example, Binance uses the Ethereum exchange, ERC tokens, and then they also now launch the Binance chain. So when you're buying a wallet, it has to be connected to that particular chain. So some wallets will say different. So if you look at the large ones like the Tracer wallets and Exodus, they usually work with all three different chains. So if you have the Bitcoin chain, you have the Ethereum chain, and now they're moving into Cardano, and Polkadot is also having the chains. So this is why some wallets work with some exchanges. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Also, part B to that would be the second part of that question. I think would be I noticed also some currencies based on their location does not accept transactions from the U.S. Platforms, and they require you to have a VPN or to be in a different country. Could you explain that?
Yes. Sadly, a lot of exchanges are limiting the US. It's like becoming like China. As you know, China has banned all cryptocurrency trading, right? So the US, because of a lot of exchange regulations, for example, what they did to Ripple, right, which actually crashed Ripple overnight from like a couple of dollars being third in the market to almost nothing now, right? So the SEC is really hitting hard on most of these guys. So some of these exchanges have pulled out of the US because the US requires them to have a lot of information. Good joke in the crypto industry is Coinbase, as you know, is going for a public offering, and the SEC is pulling a block on that, saying because Bitcoin, which is a product of Coinbase, does not have a proper owner because nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, right? They're questioning how to put Bitcoin and Coinbase into their public offering. So the US is getting a little, the Fed is actually, because they're getting worried, right? Because the US dollar is falling and money is going out from the treasury to, because I in my trainings, I've seen a lot of people now in the US is getting into my trainings because they're getting the payoff of $1,400. They're all looking at putting that into crypto. So the whole idea of the $1,400 is not to go out to crypto, but to spend it so that the economy will get stimulated. But people know that, you know, that $1,400, they rather put it in Bitcoin and or one of the things. So this is the issue that the US is having. So a lot of these, they tell you to use the VPN because they block these exchanges.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that as well since I'm American. I face this a lot. We have very restricted options. You would think that from the US, you know, arguably the #1 economy right now, that we would be able to access everything. But the truth is, like Sanjay said, a lot of exchanges avoid us because of the regulation, right? They don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want the feds or the SEC coming after them. So they just try to stay away from dealing with US persons, right? Even Binance, I used to use Binance and now I can't even get a transaction through on Binance anymore. So it's unfortunate, but like Sanjay said, that is what's happening. Obviously use the exchanges you can. Someone asked about Gemini. Like, it's kind of boring, but it works. Coinbase, I think, works. I don't know about Binance US. I think eToro may work. I haven't tried it in the US. There are exchanges that you can use. Uphold Wallet, I think, works pretty well. So certainly you can find a way to do it, but you are going to get some challenges if you're from America.
Does this protect us from the SEC by any way?
SEC is not going to come after you as an individual, right? They're after companies, right? So if you're a company and you're issuing a cryptocurrency, then you need to watch out. But they're not coming after you as an individual. They're not really interested in that.
John, I was just going to add, just in regards to the regulation, I guess this goes part to the FATCA regulation that the government implemented, and basically what they've done is that for every American citizen around the world that has any kind of securities in a financial institution anywhere in the world, that institution is obligated to report that information to the IRS in the US. If they don't report that to the IRS, they could be in for some very, very hefty fines. And as John said, a lot of companies would rather not deal with Americans than actually have to jump hoops to actually actively report on American customers and potentially have to deal with the fines if they don't correctly report the holdings of American customers.
We can talk about that more in the Q&A at the end as well. I want to keep it going, but it looks like Steve, you got your hand up. You want to ask a question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Steve, can.
Okay, so I've been listening to your conversation and it's all really, really good information. So I'm part of Dr. Harnett's Investing in Africa group. And my main question is regarding, you know, based on all of these currencies and protocols and all of that, what are the actual use cases where I can go into Africa and start using, you know, jump into a use case, a practical business that I could do with these protocols or this blockchain? That's kind of what I'm looking to do, other than outside of like trading or speculating on Bitcoin. What is it that what problems or use cases in blockchain are there that I could jump into Africa now and start getting ahead and using blockchain?
Okay, actually,
you know,
I can
before you answer that, so I'm gonna jump on that one because I'm gonna cover that in the next two sections. Why don't we hold that one? I'm gonna go into that quite a bit coming up. Okay.
Okay.
And actually, Steve, after the session, I can give you a actual case scenario of blockchain-based tracing as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we got Francis, and then we should keep going here. Francis, did you want to ask a quick question?
Hello, everyone. First, I just want to say thank you to you guys for having to organize this. Sorry, I've been in and out because I'm at work right now, but because it's so interesting, I did get some snippets of knowledge. So the reason why I said that is because if the question I'm going to ask you, someone I've asked before, but it'd probably be when I was in TEB around. So now, when we talk about crypto, I'm still trying to get my head around it. But one thing I still don't understand is this: all cryptos, the fiat currency that is used to value them is in dollars, American dollars, USD. Now, if that's the case, does it really mean that when the dollar fluctuates, goes down, what effect does it have on the crypto? That is one. The second question I want to ask is that, how does this apply in a real business life? I mean, if you want to go into investment outside of the crypto world, like my predecessor, the gentleman that asked the question. So I've attended Dr. Hannett's session. I'm not really a member, but as an African, going there to Africa, what's going to be the advantage of having to have to be dealing in crypto? How is that going to be into, how I say, something solid that you can start a business with? Thank you.
Maybe I'll tackle the economics. I'll let you take the rest, Sanjay or Kishi.
Yeah.
The economic question, right? As the dollar, I think you were saying, as it kind of goes down in value. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because
So
everything is.
The dollar is inflationary, right? The dollar is they keep printing dollars. So they're printing, stimulus, Congress.
I know that.
Reform.
Yeah.
So what's happening is the more you print, the less it's worth, right?
Yes.
Other countries are like, you just keep printing all this money, like right? On the other hand, Bitcoin is deflationary, which means there's only a certain amount and there's not going to be any more. So even you're going to see Bitcoin go down sometimes because the markets are just irrational. However, the bottom line is, in the long term, you're going to keep seeing Bitcoin, my opinion, start to flow, etc. You're going to see Bitcoin keep going up. Okay. Even though you're going to see some crazy stuff in between like this. Sanjay knows trading better than I do. Okay. But you're going to see this stuff all the time. But what's going to happen is Bitcoin is deflationary. Remember that, which means
I get that. But
keep going.
Okay. I get your explanation, John. But what I'm saying is, in real terms, in the real world. So for example, Bitcoin is worth $45,000 today. Okay. Just for the sake of it. And that $45,000, the US dollars has actually plunged down. So what I would say, so that 45,000 is not USD, it's not really worth that 45,000 USD because the dollar has gone down, yes, or today it's still going down. The dollar has gone down by XYZ percentage, so let's say 10%. So tomorrow it's gone up 50%, and you now say the Bitcoin is worth 50,000. So how does that work out? How does it work out in real terms? Do you get where I'm coming from now?
I do understand what you're saying. I mean, so if we look at the very long term, I'm not going to get too theoretical right now, but at one point, this is what I expect to see happen. Right now, you still say how many dollars is your Bitcoin worth, right? That's what you're saying. At one point, I expect you're going to ask me how much Bitcoin or how many fractions of a Bitcoin is this worth? How much is that house in Bitcoin? When that happens, now I'm just giving you theoretically, okay? When that happens,
I got you.
when that happens, we've hit the crossing over point where you're not going back. Okay, we haven't hit that, and I hope it doesn't happen for a while, honestly, because it's probably gonna be pretty catastrophic in the U.S. But nonetheless, when we hit that point, we're no longer going to ask how many dollars is something, right? We're not going to say how many dollars is that Bitcoin. It doesn't matter anymore, right? At one point, we're probably going to come to that point.
Okay, so will that be the same? Will it rub off other cryptos, or is it just going to be Bitcoin alone?
No, it will rub off on all.
Yeah, everything else follows Bitcoin in the market. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Yep.
Yeah, my second question anyway. Yeah. Yeah, my second question. I asked the second question.
Okay.
Yeah, you said Sanjay is going to take it or something like that.
Yeah. Francis, what was your second question?
Yeah, I said how realistic is that in Africa, go having cryptos to be able to go outside of the crypto world and actually use that to start a business venture? Yeah,
so that actually we'll touch after the session, because there are some use cases that we can speak of. How blockchain, it's actually not the crypto, it is actually the blockchain technology which can take it to the grassroots level. So we can have a session on that after.
Okay.
Let's try to keep going. We got to get into a demo, Sanjay, and we still have the sections on Africa. So let's keep going here. One more question.
So I'll quickly go through the wallets. As we said, there are 3 different wallets. One is a hot wallet, which is actually, as I said, you store your crypto in a third-party exchange. So basically, you don't have a private key. That is why it's called a hot wallet. Warm wallets are actually software wallets, right? Exodus, Electrum, MyEther wallet, MetaMask. There are so many wallets now which are warm wallets, which are stored on your computer, right? I'll show you an example. Then computer or your mobile phone. Then the cold wallets, the leading one is Trezor and Ledger, are like USB points where you actually, it's not connected to the internet. You download your currency and then your crypto, and then that's it. So in terms of risk, hot wallets are high risk and cold wallets are the safest, as long as you don't lose your password, because if you lose your password, that's it in wallets. Then before we go into trading, right, this is very, very important, because you're entering into a world where it's filled with computer hackers, fraudsters, scammers, who will always try to take your money, right? These guys are constantly out there. So always set up two-factor authentication. That is, there is a Google app, which is Authenticator app. So what happens is, apart from the password, when you use the Google Authenticator, I hope you can, oh no, I don't think you can see my screen. So when you use the Google, can you see my screen? No, right? Can you see? Yeah, okay. So what happens is, if you see these numbers, right, it's more like the PIN number on your banking system, right? So that number changes every 30 seconds. So apart from the password, you have to use a two-factor so that it's safe. And also, do not save your passwords in your computer, right? Write it down on a piece of paper. Do not save it. And also create a dedicated email account for your trading. So if it is like, my normal email address is sanjay@230i.com or Sanjay Mendis at Gmail. I do not use any of those. And usually you shouldn't even use it with your name, right? Because if a hacker finds your name, the first thing they will try to do is create your email address using your name. So use some crazy thing and do not share that email address for anything else. So a little tip on security. Then now I will show you how to basically buy and trade different cryptocurrencies quickly, right? To give you an idea. Hold on, I will share my screen again. So can you see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, it's Binance, right? So basically, this is how you buy crypto, right? If it is US dollars, they give you bank deposits, credit debit cards, P2p trading, and third-party payments. So P2p trading is the easiest to buy, and it is the cheapest anywhere, because if you use the credit card or bank transfers, they charge you quite a high fee. So on P2p trading, when you want to buy, it's actually, let's say I want to buy any USDT, right? When I do a search, these are all the sellers. So what I do is I basically, when I want to buy, I can buy either USDT, BTC, BUSD, BNB, Ethereum, or DAI, right? Any of these currencies. After that only I trade with them. So most of these people offer it on bank transfers, right? Now, for example, CKY, you have a trust score of 99.51. So that means it's a very trusted, and 3,800 orders. Price is 4.1 Malaysian ringgit. So it's 11 cents more than the US dollar conversion rate. They keep a markup, right? And you can bank transfer. So what I do is when I want to trade, I basically give the price. I want to pay 4,000 ringgit. I will receive 973 USDT. Then it will tell you the terms and conditions. Payment time is 15 minutes. So when I put the buy order, what happens is Binance will hold that amount from his wallet, and then I transfer the money to his bank account, right, out of the system. And then when I say confirm that I have transferred, they will get information saying that I've got the money, and they transfer the money to my P2P wallet. So that's the first step of taking your currency out. Then when you have done that, we go into trading, right? As I said, I'll teach you on spot trades, give you a quick demo on spot trades. Let's say I want to sell my, okay, so this is my demo account, right? So let's say Cardano, right? ADA. I want to spot trade Cardano. The price has, let's say what the price of Cardano now is $1.11, right? So I want to convert Cardano, right? Now I will say I have to select ADA is right. So I have 2000 ADA. Let's say I want to convert 1000 ADA into either Ethereum, let's say, right? So I select Ethereum. Then when I say convert, it will give me for 1000 Cardano, I will get 0.69 Ethereum, right? So if I say purchase, it will convert. The other way you could do it is, because this is on the market price, so you can lose out. You could also use the classic conversion module. You can actually trade the coin in terms of Ethereum, say, let's say ADA. I want to trade. I can trade in this. So I want to trade ADA to Ethereum. So this is pretty overwhelming on your first look, but it gives you all the orders, the up price, the spot selling price, and the long buy price. So here I go down, buy ADA or sell ADA. So I have X amount of ADA. I will say I want to sell, let's say 20% of my ADA, right? Ethereum is, I get 0.28 Ethereum. But let's say I don't need to buy it at this price. I'm looking at Ethereum going down against ADA. So let's say I will say I want to buy 70 Ethereum, no, let's say 80, right? So then it's 129. I can keep an order. If I sell, I can keep this order when the market goes up to this price, goes down actually, Ethereum falls against ADA to this price, my order will be executed. So let me just show you. If I say sell ADA, limit sell order created, so it's here, right, at the moment. So when the price, it is now 0069, when it becomes 0080, my order will automatically sell. So this is how you spot trade, right? When you know, let's say you want to sleep at and you don't want to trade and you want to go to sleep in the night and you know there's a downward trend, you could always put in this value and then go into the trade later. So that is actually a simple example of how to trade. Then going into spot trading, right? I can give you a little example in terms of, hold on. So this is actually can you see the screen, the Excel screen that I'm showing?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually a real life situation for me. This is not so I want to show you this, right? So at one time, on my foolish emotional days when I got into trading, I traded and I lost a few Ethereums, right, on spot trading. So what happened was on the 6th of February, right, 0.6 Ethereum, right? So the price at that point was 1,646. So what I did was actually I converted it to Binance coin, BNB, because BNB was rising rapidly at that point. I can remember, John, in the Wakanda group also, I put on a notice saying buy BNB because it was rising, right? It went from $73 right up to $300 in 4 days, right? So what happened was I actually traded this 0.6, which was 990, and bought 16 Binance coins with this 990, right? And then when Binance went up to 145, right? So it's almost doubled in 4 days, right? So this is what spot trading is. It went to 145. So I sold my Binance and I swapped it to Ethereum, which was 1,800 value, right, at that point. So I ended up with my 0.6 buying 1.3 Ethereum, right? So from a value of 1,000, but now Ethereum has gone down, right? So I did the same thing recently when Ethereum was going down. I bought ADA, which is Cardano. Cardano was at 85 cents at the point, and then I shifted most of my to some of my Ethereum, and when Ethereum and everything was going down, Cardano and Polkadot actually held strong, right? So actually my value of the Ethereum stayed strong. So when Ethereum goes down to about 1,300, I again bought a Ethereum, right? So so this is a little explanation of how to do spot trading, because it is very, very safe. You're not playing with futures or anything like that. It is a pretty safe thing if you know what you're doing. And then the next one is how do you get money, right? Which is this is active trading, passive income. Is you have Binance Earn. If you go into Binance Earn, so this is what John was telling you about. At the moment, if you put BUSD, right, Binance USD, you get a 6% interest rate. And Bitcoin, you get 1.2. Why is it so low? Because Bitcoin alone is going up. So your interest that you receive is in Bitcoin, not in fiat, right? So that's the advantage of. Then they have the fixed terms. So fixed terms, if you have let's say BUSD for 90 days, you get 7%, right? So in those staking, right, if you stake this coin for Sol, for example, you're getting 14%. OGN, you get 47% return, right? And if you go for 15 days, you're getting 47. So because this is how some of these coins get liquidity for their launchers, right? BTC, limit supply higher, 90 days, you get 5%. So you're getting your return on BTC So if you stake your BTC, you're getting a 5% return. Let's say you start the stake at 40, now it's 47, BTC is supposed to go up to 60,000, right? 90 days, if it goes up, your API and everything will go in. So you can check these out. And then the other one was staking, right? The question on staking. So staking is when some of these coins are launched. So let's say completed now. I actually staked on this BNB pool for this Dodo coin, right? So what happens is you can stake your coin for a period of time, and then based on that, you get paid. Apart from the interest of 1.62, you get what they call airdrops. You get a percentage of Dodo coins given to your account as well. So when it's 14 days, you have to stake it, and you can't take the money. You can take the money out anytime, coin out anytime you want, but you can earn interest in these ways. So this is actually passive income. What I showed you, spot trading, is active income, and then you get the other one, which you can also earn on forward purchases of blockchain as well. So that is the trading part. Any questions there?
Okay, and Sanjay, I think we'll try to keep going here. We will stay.
Yeah.
We are.
So you can start, John.
So
hello. Yeah, please. I do have a question. Sorry, I'm looking at this on my phone and I couldn't raise my hand. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
We'll do one quick question. We have a couple sections we want to get through, and we'll do more questions at the end again because we are going to run long. I know that already. But let's go, Francis, jump in there. Quick question, then we'll keep going.
Okay, yes. Now, the staking, I'll just have to say about the staking. Now, does it mean that you place your money there, or you buy the crypto, and then is it that when you say you're going to get so much percentage over a period of 30, 60, 70 days, are you saying that you expect that the crypto will appreciate to a certain percentage, there's a certain value, for example? So, for example, say you bought it at 1 cent per unit, and then it thinks that in 90 days it should have been $1. Is that what it means?
No.
Or could you clarify more on that?
There are two, right?
Okay.
So one is the exchange. It is like a bank, right? When you stake your currency, let's say Bitcoin, for example, you stake it at $40,000, right? One Bitcoin. You put in to the, so for staking that into giving the liquidity to the exchange, just like a bank, they will give you an interest rate, right? Like a savings account. So it's the same as that. So the advantage in that is, okay, you put one Bitcoin, you get your interest also in Bitcoin daily to your account, right? So what happens is, apart from the interest you get, if Bitcoin has appreciated during that point, you earn, your interest also keeps going up because you're earning on Bitcoin, not in US dollars. Okay. So both things happen.
So what if it goes down?
It goes down, you lose, so the interest that you get in but you get in Bitcoin, so not the fiat value, right? So it doesn't matter, right? So because if you put one Bitcoin, when that's why the interest rate is very low on Bitcoin. If you looked at compared to USDT and BNB, Bitcoin is just 1.2%, right? Because even if it goes down, your interest comes in Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter. It is not in US dollars.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Yeah. I will contact you after this. I don't want to take much time. Yeah, if you don't mind. I'll reach out to you on Telegram. Yeah, go on.
Okay, we're going to jump into the next section. We're going to go quickly through the regulation. Everybody see my screen? And then we're going to get into Africa and questions. Okay. Everybody see my screen? And just to let you know, we're going to take by about 30 minutes at least. All right, here we go. Regulation. So around the world, we can see kind of China, cryptocurrencies are not legal tender. and exchanges are illegal, which is funny because like nearly 50% of Bitcoin mining is now in China, which is a risk actually. And they also have their digital yuan, and they have Binance, which is, I think, partially Chinese party owned, right? So there's a lot happening in China, but I guess they don't always tell you everything they're doing, right? United States, not legal tender. We got lots of people getting into it. From regulatory perspective, like we said, banks, et cetera, are able to get into it. And obviously the IRS is gonna wanna know what you're selling is considered to be property. Okay? In Singapore, not legal tender. Cryptocurrencies are legal. Registration with the MAS if you're a company. You can go ahead and you can, run and use cryptocurrencies. The EU currencies are legal tender for member states, and the exchanges are regulated by each member state. Australia is considered as property again, and cryptocurrency exchanges are legal, must register off track. We'll look at an African case in a minute here, which is not our best one in Nigeria, but let's look at taxes. So taxes vary by country. You should check with your local authority. In the US, it's basically considered as property. So just like if you bought a house or you bought some other property, you get a capital gains tax. Same thing applies for crypto. Okay, so if you hold it for longer than a year, you get lower capital gains tax. If you hold it for shorter than a year, it's going to be higher. If you do a lot of trading, you're going to get hit with more taxes as well for trading. I don't do a lot of trading, partially for that reason, and partly because I like to sleep at night, but that's another matter. So that's in the US. Now here's Nigeria. This is an interesting case, right? This happened about 2 weeks ago. It was February 5th, 3 weeks ago, something now, maybe a month. They actually told the banks that they can't use cryptocurrency in the regulation, which is wild to me. I have, like, my cousin has a business in that space, and that impacted him pretty badly, and a lot of other fintechs pretty badly in Nigeria. And you can see the price here of crypto, because Nigeria is the second largest market for Bitcoin after the United States, actually, I believe. You can see the price of there's a big premium, like 38%, $72,000 for Bitcoin. That was like a week ago, okay? Because of what they did with the regulation. I don't think this is a great move, but we'll see if they reverse it. On the other hand, Kenya actually went the other way, at least even though we're not sure if it's for sure. And Kenya actually, I think they said that they were considering it like as like a central bank currency or something. So some people say that was just like a satire, but we're not sure. It does seem like maybe they're considering it. Okay, so there's a lot of regulation in Africa. It's a little trickier than it is necessarily maybe in the US or Singapore or the EU. But this is a rapidly evolving space, and you just got to keep an eye on it. Generally speaking, in the US and a lot of the Western countries, it's considered to be property. It's treated that way. Okay, let's go into Africa now and developing markets, because it's a very different use case when we get to Africa. Okay, so you can see the process. If you guys were on, I was on a session they had with Arikana Chombori Kwal, and she had a session with the Odua coin, which is a African Diaspora owned coin. Right now that they're working on, Akon has his coin, which is quite famous these days, getting ready to launch his coin in his digital city there in slipped my mind, Senegal. And then we also have Cardano, which is doing a lot of projects in Africa. We have Stellar. Like I said, Acoin is actually based on Stellar, as you can see right there, right? So there's lots of projects happening in Africa and a lot of activity going on. Let's go on here. Why is it a big deal? So it's not like in the developed world, right? It's just like, hey, I want a different investment class, even though frankly, in America right now, I think, you really should seriously be considering like a little bit of a hedge of having some crypto at this point. But nonetheless, right, it's more of a convenience in America. In the developing world, though, really access to finance. I think somebody mentioned Zimbabwe earlier, right? The currency can become worth almost nothing, right? This might save your finances, okay? And then the blockchain transparency eliminates a lot of potential corruption too, because a lot of people are concerned, oh, what about the corruption issue? What about that? And actually, because the blockchain is very transparent, you can see every transaction. We know where the tokens went. We know where the funds went. It's not really like you can hide it very easily, right? So that's actually a good thing from that perspective. So this is a video that's a cool little explanation. Let's take a look at this. You see okay?
As you may have guessed, we're not in Silicon Valley anymore. This is Kailisha, one of the biggest and poorest townships in South Africa.
What are you cooking?
I'm cooking the Afghan meat.
Very nice. Very nice. And whether you're into crypto to make money or to save the world, emerging markets like this might be the place to be.
My view is that this is where the blockchain should start. In the US or in sophisticated countries, the way I see blockchain is the blockchain is kind of like a fun thing. It's a movement against centralization, and it's a fun technology game that everybody's playing, but it's not a necessity. You certainly don't need it. In Africa, you actually need it.
The biggest problem? It's nearly impossible here to get or send money.
Look around you. There's no infrastructure here. There's no ATM. How do they get the money?
And if you think it's any better in the big cities, think again.
My name is Kudakwashe Ian Muchingami.
Kudakwashe.
Yeah, Kudakwashe, yes.
Or Ian.
Or Ian.
Like so many others in Cape Town, our Uber driver Ian migrated from another part of the continent in search of work.
Cape Town is like New York of Africa.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's got family back home.
Yeah.
And they send money back.
They definitely send money back.
Ian included. He's got a mother and brother back in Zimbabwe, but sending them money, far from easy. And you can't transfer money with the bank?
It takes days or weeks. And sometimes the bank doesn't have the money. So it's a hassle.
More than a hassle. It could be the difference between life and death.
Like recently, I sent money to my mother. She was going to the hospital. So I wanted to send $100.
Unable to wait for a bank transfer, Ian used a money wiring service. It was immediate, yes. But the downside? Does it cost money?
10%.
10%?
Yeah, 10%. It's a lot.
Which brings us to a very interesting third option of sending money in Africa.
Through the bus.
To the bus.
Yeah,
what does that mean? To find out, Ian took me to where it all goes down.
This is the bus stop that I was talking about. You approach the driver, then you talk to him. Are you able to assist me? Then the driver will say yes. And you wish good luck. The bus will arrive in Zimbabwe.
And then I hand him the money. Yes. And that's the agreement.
That's the agreement,
it's
yes.
Just a verbal
it's a verbal agreement, yes.
And you hope that he takes the money to where you want it to go.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And from there, well, things get a little dicey. And if the bus gets a flat tire.
Sometimes the delay, bus breaks down.
The bus is gonna get
or
there.
the bus can be robbed.
Robbed. Back in the car, I was still stunned. It seems kind of crazy to go to a bus and hand over your hard-earned money to him and say, please bring this to my family. I trust you.
Yeah.
It's just something that most people wouldn't do.
You just want to survive. I wish there was another option that is safe and cheap to send money.
All right, so you can see the use case in Africa is very different, right? We're not talking about, oh, you know, I don't know if I want to buy a stock. Do I want to buy an ETF? Do I want a retirement option? Like, can I get money to my mom, right? Can I make sure that my money doesn't disappear because my currency is completely devalued? Even though in America, we are starting to see some rumblings of devaluing, but nonetheless, not like Zimbabwe, okay, at this point. So we can see opportunities in Africa, economic inclusion and empowerment. That's something that my startup company is working on. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Connecting African diaspora and the African continent. So many of you, like in the ABBA, Africa Business Academy, Dr. Harnett, you're trying to start businesses in Africa. And there's a lot of possibilities using blockchain and cryptocurrency to support that. So a lot of interesting opportunities. Blockchain projects, like we talked about, Stellar, Cardano, Acoin, Odua, right? Networking and creating a global community is something that we are working on doing right here in this call with ABBA, with our Wakanda blockchain meetups and many others as well, and creating a digital Wakanda. So if we can't all be in the same place, we can still have the collective economics to be able to build businesses. One of the interesting statistics I saw, there are a lot of startups funding happening in Africa, but only 1% to 3% of those founders are actually Black African founders, which is a sad statistic, which means that about 97% of those are basically either white or other founders that are not Black or African diaspora founders. So being able to get funding is a really big deal, and the blockchain and cryptocurrencies are really changing that situation. This is a map of banking the unbanked, right? The percentage of total adult population, you can see obviously America, lots of people are banked. Europe, everybody's banked. Australia, I'm not sure why it's so green, I guess estimates, but still mostly banked, right? Africa, large swaths of unbanked, large swaths of unbanked throughout parts of Asia and Latin America. So one of the really big deals in the developing world in Africa is the ability to get people, for instance, you'll see in the solution that I'm working on in my company, if somebody wants to get, let's say, a farming project going in Ghana, we can get funds to them and we can use a cryptocurrency to possibly do that, right? If somebody wants to do a mine or a mining project, we're talking several mining projects. Usually it's only China or kind of the West that's able to fund those, but the diaspora can fund those using cryptocurrency. So this is a really big new opportunity. So this is my company, Auspicious Blockchain. I'm going to talk about that for a moment. So empowering the developing world through blockchain and cryptocurrency projects. We invest in African growth markets using this. It can also be used in other developing markets and make company investments. And let's see basically how it works, right?
Could I do a question? The last section. Yeah, the banking section. Which one of the crypto components is the bank? Is it the exchange?
Okay, is this about Africa or is this about the banking section?
About the banking section that you just finished 2 seconds ago. So I'm trying to figure out which part of the crypto components is acts as a bank. Is it the exchange or is it the coin itself or what?
Okay, I'm not seeing who's talking, but so you're talking about this slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm trying to find you because we got so many people on. But
the bar.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So basically, this is the unbanked, right? So the banks that there are effectively most of these places that are dark black or green, dark green, they're not bank. There's no banking there at all, right? So if I say, hey, I want to get some money from my bank, I want to get a loan, I want to start a business, it's not going to happen, right? Because there is no bank. Okay.
Yeah, then come.
So when we say that, I'm going to mute. Sorry, if you're not talking, please mute. Okay.
I'm assuming you have.
Give me a second. All right. So what I'm saying here is that all those dark colored segments, roughly 2/3 of the world is either unbanked or underbanked. If you are from the sections that are in light gray or light green, you're very fortunate because you actually have access to financial services that 2/3 of the world does not have access to. Does that answer your question?
No, I'm trying to find out which component of the crypto space acts as a bank, so that we can go in with a crypto component that acts as a bank into these unbanked sections.
Gotcha. So crypto is not a bank per se, it's really an alternate financial system, right? So you have the banking system, which, like we said, it only serves basically 1/3 of the world's population to some degree. And then you got another 2/3 of the world's population. And really, crypto provides an alternate financial system. So it acts not really as a bank, but what it acts as is another way that funds can be moved, projects can be financed, but it's not a bank, right? So what we think of as a bank, it's not a bank. It's that we can move funds and I can send it to somebody in Nigeria, I can send it to Kenya, I can send it to Brazil, I can send it to Venezuela, or whoever it is, right? And they can use those funds. And obviously we're getting more and more ways you can use your funds in Bitcoin or Ethereum or other cryptos, but it's not a bank. Unless you actually go put your crypto in custody with the bank, it's not going to be in a bank. Does that make sense?
Yeah, mostly it does. And so the 2/3 that are unbanked, the alternate financial system of the entirety of the crypto world would be useful there, but I'm trying to figure out more specifically how I can be an asset to the unbanked, and you know what I mean?
I do. Let's go to the next slide because I'm about to show that actually. All right, so our mission: facilitate the movement of funds into Africa, drive impactful investments for growth and opportunities, bring meaningful changes to the region, and better the life of people, brighter, stronger Africa and diaspora. So let's watch this. This might answer some of your questions. You'll recognize the voice. This is Charlie. Charlie's an African American living in the US, and he would like to be able to invest in Africa. Unfortunately, he doesn't know anybody there, and he really doesn't know how to go about it and how to safely and transparently invest funds or lend funds to projects in Africa. So a little confused as to what to do. But with our ScanPay platform from Auspicious Blockchain, we enable investments and funding and lending from Western financial system to projects in Africa. Let's take a look at how this works using our Auspicious Blockchain ScanPay platform. So we start out with Charlie wanting to invest in a particular project. So he will go ahead and select the bank or financial institution in the US that he would like to be able to invest from. This would also work from Singapore and other locations around the world as well. And from there, he decides to exchange into some Bitcoin. He could do another cryptocurrency like a US dollar tether or another, but he chooses to go to Bitcoin, well-known currency, and he moves that over and he creates in his ScanPay wallet in the app a new debit card, which is going to be able to hold those funds for him. So he creates the new debit card, and you can see a list here of Charlie's debit card. So he is ready now to go ahead and look for a project that he wants to fund. So now Charlie's going to go through and look at a list of different African countries that he's interested that are available on the platform. And he sees Ghana, which is one he's heard a lot of good things about from the year of return last year in 2019. And so he chooses Ghana, and he goes to a list of projects in Ghana, and he sees a couple are available and maybe some others. So he picks one of those, and he then goes ahead and funds along with others who are crowdfunding. And he gives to a farming project that is happening in Ghana with Io and Laddie, who are local farmers. So he sends those funds over to Io and Laddie, and they are now able to produce a great output of produce and a good crop that they are able to now either return on investment or return on a loan back to Charlie through the platform. It goes back into his debit or credit account. They can use their account on the platform as well if they wish. And then that can go back to either a digital asset or cryptocurrency, or it can go back directly to his bank account in the US, all following existing payment mechanisms. Charlie's been able to help the African continent, and he's been able to invest and benefit himself. Okay, so going back to the question that you were asking, this is what our platform does. It connects the Western financial system with Africa using blockchain and cryptocurrencies, right? And this is a big opportunity for Africa, whether you're using our platform, whether you're using somebody else's platform or approach, because this is something we could never do before, right? We have so much regulation, so much red tape. It's so hard to get money to anybody who's really doing a project anywhere in Africa. And now we have the opportunity that we can start to do it, right? So my company's doing this. We're launching in Ghana this quarter. We should be launching hopefully in Rwanda in the second half of the year. And what you're gonna see is that obviously we got to navigate all the different regulations as usual, but blockchain facilitates and allows us to do this. Francis, you got a question?
Yes, I have two questions actually. The first question I have is that why does this particular individual in the US, why does he have to go to a bank? What if he's already holding that? Is it because that's where he's got to convert the fiat into a crypto? That's why he has to go to the bank?
The technology is pretty easy. So, I mean, we've got a technology team, which I don't have up here, but we got quite a few people on our technology team.
No,
and
why does it need to, I thought this was a system that was independent to the bank or serves as an alternative to a bank or the banking system. So I don't really understand why
it is independent. It is independent, that's true. But remember, a lot of people, like let's say in America or the UK or Singapore, they're using traditional banks, right?
Yeah.
So they have to get their fiat currency into
the crypto
system and then into a crypto, right?
Okay, fine.
So you have to have a bridge. I don't know if
Okay.
anybody watches. I gave this example, which is maybe gonna work for some people, maybe it won't. But if anybody ever watches a series on Netflix called Stranger Things, there's like this upside down, right? Some of you may not watch it, but anyway, for those of you who did, there's like this parallel kind of universe that's operating, and you can think of crypto as being like that upside down. It's a parallel universe, not bad, but parallel. So they're both operating. You can go in and out at certain points, right? So you need a point where you can go in and out of it. Does that make sense to you, right? So what we're saying is you don't need the bank. So somebody else is asking me that, but if you want to go from this, our regular banking system, and you want to get into crypto and go back and forth, you have to have certain points where you're going to do that.
Okay, that's fine. Now, my second question is this. When you get to having to invest in Africa, okay, for that project, okay, you pick the country. Now, when you're now going to return or repatriate the funds back, okay, usually when you invest from hard currency now meaning USD, Euro, pound sterling, and so on, and you go to the local currency in Africa, by the time you're going to round trip the funds back, there's always a serious, massive shortfall. So how's that going to be, how are you going to mitigate that risk, the foreign exchange risk?
The exchange rate risk, Francis?
Yes, the foreign exchange risk.
So what we would do, remember we talked about the stable coin, the USDC, the US Tether, the Tether? What we do is if we're going to do a transfer, and let's say we have to go from crypto, we would move over to one of those stable coins until we could transfer into fiat, right? So that's how you mitigate for the most part, is moving the crypto into a stable coin cryptocurrency. Now you still have exchange rate risk, just like if I was going from dollars to yen or dollars to euros, that's still going to be there. But you can mitigate it by using a stable coin.
Okay, so the stable coin would now be what? The most popular one, which is Bitcoin? Or
USDT, Tether is the most popular. USDC is another one that's very popular.
Okay, so now, so that is from when you initiated the project, the transaction, the root rate from the US. So you're converting USD to Bitcoin. And then now my third question would now be, the farmer in Ghana, is it going to be paid in crypto, or is it going to be in the local currency?
It depends on the project, right? Let's say that the person, the local farmer, has a bank account. We would just pay them in Ghanaian cedis. Let's say that they're using mobile money, right? We could pay them using mobile money in Ghanaian cedis. But if they don't have either of those, then we would pay them in crypto.
Oh, you pay them in crypto, so they have to go and open a crypto wallet.
Yes, and we also use a smart contract to track the movement of funds and make sure that, let's say they own the land, that they've planted the crop, that they're returning, what we expect, et cetera. So we use smart contracts to track that.
Okay, so and this project that you're looking at, the cycle is within what, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
It depends.
The scenario
There's many projects. Right now we're working with a partner. There's probably about 200 plus farming projects in Ghana. So some of them it's 90 days, some of them it's a year or 6 months. Some are returning 15%, some 10%. So it depends on the project and that particular agribusiness or farmer.
Okay. And
No,
what's the average ROI? Sorry, I think that's my last question.
The average return, you said?
Yes, ROI, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on the project. I've seen some that are 15%, over like 6 months, some that are 12%. Let's put it this way, and I'll give you why it's that way, and then we'll go a little further. But the cost of capital in Africa is very high. So I was talking to some friends from Nigeria, right? And he said, look, I've got a factory I want to add on, but it's 25% cost of capital to borrow money, which is ridiculous. And then I can only borrow 30% of the value of my asset or property. That's ridiculous. You can't. So you said, basically, I can't do anything because it's so expensive to borrow money. Now, that wouldn't be a problem in America, wouldn't be a problem in Singapore or the UK, but it's a definite problem in Africa, right? Unfortunately, some of that may be by design. But the bottom line is, if they're giving you back 12% and they're able to access capital, that's a good deal for them, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, don't let me take more time. I still have some more questions, but I'll see that.
We'll have more Q&A at the end, Francis. There's no problem. We can also talk offline, but
yes, let's talk
offline.
offline.
Let me go through the rest here, and then we'll allow for more questions. Let's start with that.
I'm even at work. I don't have that much time. I need to do some one or two things.
That's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's my contact info. For those who have questions, we are basically launching our pilot and raising seed funds on the company side. Of course, if you have other questions about Africa, we'll talk about that during the Q&A section as well. You can also catch in the Wakanda blockchain meetup group, the Telegram group, to chat about it. We'll talk more about it. So let's just open it up for questions on the Africa section, and then we'll open it up for general Q&A. Anybody who feels they want to leave, feel free. We have run long, but I will stay on. I think Sanjay, Kishi, if you guys are okay and you're not falling asleep, we're gonna hang in for a little longer.
Yeah,
okay?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So what questions do you guys have? Either about the Africa, our platform, or in general over the whole session?
No.
Go ahead. Let's see who has their hand up. That's Francis.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Who is it? What's your name?
Tamara.
Tamara. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I had a question for Sanjay. Yes, I wanted to know, is there any other platform besides TradingView that I can find out, like it will help me tell me when I need to, you know what you were saying about TradingView shows you when you need to buy, and then when you need to take out your money. Is you the only one?
See, TradingView is the most popular one, which is used by, I would say, everyone I know, the traders that I know, including because it's a free software as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different other softwares, but if you look at most of the exchanges, the API that they use is from TradingView. So
no. Sorry, I swear you had to pay.
No, TradingView you don't have to pay. It is free.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you first register. You can register a free account on TradingView, but you need to set it up. So that's separate.
Okay, and another question to ask you, I saw on Coin, it was on February 22nd, not long ago, but I think it's on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, about the MasterCard and the Visa. I was speaking about it with John. So basically, I just so basically you can go with anyone like BlockFi, or I know BlockFi has a waiting list. I tried with WireX, but I'm not ready to get the MasterCard yet. But basically, Crypto.com, BlockFi, you can get with any of them, right? You can.
Yes, you can. But what is your purpose, Tema? What is the purpose for using the card?
And crypto, buy crypto, and also you get rewards, got different percentage.
Oh yeah. You can use, because most of these cards that are regulated in countries, if they're launched, they are regulated cards. So, but Master and Visa is going to take time because they've just got into it. But there are cards which are working with Master and Visa to be able to trade crypto also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We got 3 more questions, so I'm going to take them in order here. I think I saw Jose, then Rosemary, then Darren. So let's start with Jose. Jose?
Yes, hello everyone. Yes, Jose, I'm from Angola, and can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I'm from Angola, and I'm also I'm very glad for this session because there is a great movement of blockchain and cryptocurrency here in Angola, And most of the thing that we've been talking about here is really what is happening. Local currency are going weaker, and people are looking forward to get more and more cryptocurrency in their hand. And I think this is a great opportunity. But going to my question, I got two quick questions here related to, first of all, the investment platform. I know it's more directed for the African diaspora towards the continent, but is it possible to do intra African investment? Like, I am from Angola, I'm staying in Angola, and then still use the platform to do the investment, for example, in Ghana, in Rwanda, or in South Africa, for example, through the auspiciousblockchain.com. This is my question. And my second one is, Sanjay, are you going to promote as well a training about trading in the end, regarding what you were showing us, like on the passive trading side and the active trading side as well?
No, I wasn't planning on promoting a training program on this, but are you a member of the Wakanda blockchain group?
I just landed. I'm getting to know you through Abba, the Abba family. So
okay, yeah, you can get my contacts from the presentation and just DM me. I can.
Yeah, because I'm the Telegram group already, so I don't know if you're also there.
I am there, Sanjay Mendis.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
So absolutely, just catch in the, if you haven't joined the Telegram group already, please do that. If anybody has the link for that. Then your other question on our platform, right now, the African Continental Free Trade Area is going into play, Jose, and we are trying to actually support intra-Africa transactions as well. So we are piloting that actually with one of our partners in Ghana, and we expect to probably expand on that. There's a women's group for different women's projects across Africa we're going to be working with, and we will be probably doing a lot of intra-Africa transactions. So the answer to that is yes, and happy to talk to you. We can talk directly if you want to get more details on that as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go over to, I think we had Rosemary next, and then Francis, then then Darren, then Francis. So Rosemary?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to thank you for a really, really uplifting and very informative presentation. My question is one of enabling me as a sort of junior elder coming to this whole Bitcoin situation, to get my head around a mindset that says it's an opportunity rather than something that we are being forced into as people, you know, as the global majority. So my situation is that in the Caribbean and in Jamaica in particular, where I live, we are becoming increasingly unbanked or underbanked. You know, the banks are closing in the little village where I live, for example. Everything is being moved online. And, you know, the cost of transferring money and the difficulties in terms of transferring money. I mean, Jamaica used to rely on Jamaicans overseas sending money home. That's what I used to do when I was in the UK. It was how we were brought up. This is what we needed to do. Now that is becoming much more difficult in terms of people transferring money in a way that's affordable. Then when it gets out here, the outlets where you can go and get the money are far and few between, yeah? So even places like Jamaica are becoming unbanked. So what that does is to leave people like me kind of reluctant to embrace Bitcoin. I want to, because I definitely want to invest in Africa and Africa's growth as an African in the diaspora. And if that's the only way to do it, then that's the way to do it. But I'm doing it kind of reluctantly, cautiously, and with a deep sense of resentment that at this point, you know, the places that have benefited from Africa, you know, the European countries, the Western business systems, all of that, the banks who have benefited from us and are still benefiting from us in their bank systems. You know, we're still paying debt back at you know, extraordinary sort of interest rates, et cetera, but we're being forced into an unbanked system. And so for me, it's a kind of mindset thing. And how can I have this conversation with people of my generation about embracing Bitcoin as an opportunity rather than another way that the West has placed its foot on our necks?
Yep, and I'm going to join on my other device here, so hopefully this will not give feedback. I think this is a really important point you're making, Rosemary. This is basically what Dr. Harnett, I think we're in her session where she talked about basically the Great Reset. That's what she's talking about. The West already is in a situation where it cannot continue with its debt-based system, right? So around 2008, 2009, we had the Great Recession, if you remember that.
Yes.
Okay. And what that did is a lot of people thought, oh, we everything's fixed, you know, it's all good now. But all we did was we printed a lot of debt, and we made a lot of debt-based money in America, and basically that supposedly fixed everything. It didn't fix anything. Okay. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing now is the logical conclusion of what started back then. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, the West is, you know, they are actually no better off than anybody else, which is why we're having these discussions, because this is a time where African diaspora, we can move to these digital currencies ourselves and not have to continue to be the, for lack of a better word, the victim. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
But if we wait and say, oh, well, you guys just come up with something, then we'll be assured to be a victim again.
I hear you.
So we must move more quickly this time, right? Just like in China, they leapfrogged, okay? China leapfrogged, and they moved from, instead of going to wired communications, they went straight to wireless, right? And now they're like a leader in wireless, and all their technology is, you know, top of the game. And Africa can do the same thing in finances, because we're mostly unbanked in diaspora, okay? A lot of the diaspora, at least when you go back to home countries, are unbanked or underbanked. And like you're saying, even it's happening in Jamaica, but we can use blockchain, Bitcoin. That's the beauty of it. It can be used by anybody, and it's not restricted.
Yes.
Okay. So we can move to that now, and we can leapfrog what is happening in the West. And that's why this is such an important discussion for us to have. Believe me, the West has multiple times tried to shut down Bitcoin, but they can't.
Absolutely.
That's the power of it.
Absolutely. And why would you say that Singapore then hasn't embraced Bitcoin? Places like Singapore.
Singapore has embraced it, actually. Singapore is one of the most progressive in the world, because Singapore is a banking and financial center, right? So Singapore has to stay ahead of this. Like Kishi can comment on this, but you know, the bank he's with, DBS, has publicly announced that they are having a trading. Kishi, if you're still there, do you want to comment on what DBS is doing? Can you?
Yeah, I am, John. Just to your point, DBS has recently publicly announced that it is engaging in custodial services for its wealth management clients. They're also in the process of creating a digital exchange. One of the purposes of that exchange will be to allow companies to facilitate the issuance of digital securities. I don't have the specific details on exactly how that's going to work, but that is an aspect of investing that DBS is actively pursuing. And I believe they're also going to be looking to collaborate with other financial institutions, either within the region or globally, in order to promote more digital issuance and digital transactions.
Thank you very much indeed. That really, really has helped to just help me to shift, to just get past this feeling of being pushed towards something rather than feeling the pull, the positive pull that moving towards a cryptocurrency can mean. For me, as an African woman in the Caribbean who is, you know, deeply invested in the diaspora and in our grandchildren not having to function, you know, as second-rate citizens.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I'm going to take some more questions, but this is a really important conversation to have. Let me go over to Darren. I think you were next.
Yeah, that's correct. How you guys doing today?
Hey, how are you?
Great. And I appreciate everything. This is just so you guys know, this is much appreciated. It's much needed in our community. But my question, first of all, will this be available for replay?
Yes, we are recording it and we will post it. Probably we'll have a few locations. So on the MeetUp site, probably also on ABBA, we'll have it available.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that, but my actual question towards this is, okay, like I have my wife and I have a company, a hair care company. Mm-hmm. And we're on the Shopify platform right now. And we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. We were wondering, how could we accept crypto? And we looked for a couple of apps, didn't really see anything just yet. But I was wondering, what are your thoughts about accepting crypto for a product like that? And what will be the best ones to accept? And if you have any knowledge, how would I go about accepting it?
Yeah, so I mean, that's already happening. Sorry, Sanjay, did you want to comment? Were you commenting?
Yeah, I've been quite open to this idea because I come from a background of e-commerce. You'll be surprised to know Amazon is looking at accepting crypto, right? So it is going to go mainstream. At the moment, there are a few gateways which are doing it, but I won't recommend them because it's still new. But it is a matter of time. And so definitely, because if Amazon is going to accept crypto, it is going to go mainstream pretty soon. So you will have a gateway which can connect with your Shopify payment, and especially with Visa and Master. This is the reason these guys are converging with the crypto world, because to actually open the gateways into e-commerce. So that will happen pretty soon. I would say by end of 2021, you should be able to.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to add to that, Darren, you're seeing Visa, MasterCard, I was having a private conversation about this earlier, PayPal, all these payment systems are all adopting crypto. I mean, even I think like it was Tesla, or a lot of these companies are saying, you know what, you can pay in Bitcoin right now. So this is happening. It's not like, you know, is it going to happen? It's already happening. So, you know, you can accept Bitcoin payments directly now. There are other options you can do as well. But yeah, we can chat offline. Also, we can talk about it in the Telegram group. I would definitely look at that, because also the benefit is when you accept crypto, like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, most likely it's going to keep going up in value once you get it. You know, like let's say you were the pizza guy, right? You got 10,000 Bitcoin, you'd be a happy guy today, right?
Absolutely. And that's why, like I said, my wife and I were talking about it. I was even considering letting people know that we'll accept Bitcoin. But the thing is, I guess they would have to give it to us in a different way. It wouldn't just be available through Shopify.
Yeah, so
they can send it directly to your address right now. So you can give them a Bitcoin address. They can send it directly. You'd probably have to give them a receipt or something, but you could do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. And I think someone else was it? Who was that? Jose, you were about to say something? Or who was that about to say something?
So we got a couple more, I think. So okay, I need to go over to, I think, Eddie, and then Arjili, and then Blessing. So Eddie.
Yes, John. This is really a great conversation. I'm glad you're doing it, and I feel that. One thing that I really have to share, and that is, like you've emphasized, this is happening. We just, as the diaspora and as the African as Africans don't need to be the last. The people that did that video that John did earlier, they weren't African. They were Asian and Western. And so we really need to get on the leading edge of this happening. Nigeria is not shutting down with Bitcoin just because it was banned. They're just going to neighboring communities and countries and exchanging their money over there. But my question is, do you know of exchanges in the western part of Africa? I know South Africa already is working on their own exchange in South Africa. So do you know of any other exchanges that will be able to be done in Central and Western Africa?
So I know that there is, you're just talking about exchanges that are available in Africa now?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's actually a few. Give me a second here. I'm not sure, Sanjay, while I'm pulling this up, if you have any that come to mind for you. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up. I had a short list here. Let's see. So I know you can use local Bitcoins. That gets used quite a lot all over the world, right? There's a Binance DEX, Decentralized Exchange, that can be used. There's a couple that are Binance DEX. What was the other one? Luna, I think it's called. I don't want to give you the wrong name. There's like probably 3 or 4 that are pretty popular across Africa right now, but I probably need to follow up with you to give you the list of those. Anybody else have the names?
Yeah, I'll just share a link for everyone to see. It has all the sites. So I'll just share that link. Everybody can see it in the chat.
What were some of the top names on that one?
Yeah, so the top names, Luno is there. Then Coin Direct. Local Bitcoins, it's no point because it's only P2p trading, but Luno, Coin Direct, Paxful. Luno is a very safe exchange because they actually are regularized even in Malaysia. It works with the government. Quidex, Remitano is also a pretty good exchange. So there are a few. And also, when you are checking an exchange to use, always go to CoinGecko and see the trust score. And then, you can get, if the trust score is high, like above 8, that's a safe exchange to work on. But CoinDirect for sure. And Luno, there are a few transaction charges that they charge because they are regularized. I think they pay government taxes and stuff like that. But they are pretty, I would recommend Luno without any hesitation.
Okay, excellent. Does that answer your question, Eddie?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Arjili.
Hi, how are you? Hi, everyone. So, sorry I was late. I guess I overslept. I'm a student, so my time is quite different. But for what I learned so far, it seemed like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency is the new way of, exchange. One of the things I would like to say on this platform is, I think as diaspora, instead of us just trying to push the idea of cryptocurrency, we need to push the idea of unified African cryptocurrency, because Africa needs to be in a place where the reason why Africa is weak and the reason why Africa was weak after colonialism is because we have so many different exchange currency in Africa that none of them hold value within the Western world. So we all need to put our investment towards one that can really drive Africa into a better future. The unified currency, if Africa have a unified currency, it will shift the course of what is happening on the continent and the course of what is happening in the world when it comes to diaspora and Africans around the world. I just really had to say that. There is one that is called Oduwa Coin right now that many of us on a platform were pushing, because we see that this can be a unified African cryptocurrency. It has to come from an African mindset. And I'm going to say South Africa, it's not an African country. It is a Western country that is stationed in Africa. So if we are put into what, we will be giving that money back to Germany. We need to sort of look at a coin that is made by African for African. Even right now in India, the billionaires in India are pushing regulators to stop Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, if Bitcoin becomes the currency in the world when it comes to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, it is the Western government would take over it because it was made in the West, and they will be able to determine the value, the market value. So we need to find our own stage in our own space for our own cryptocurrency. We need to start pushing Western, idea of what it is to be, and this is what happened in Africa. This is why they can take our resources and they can give us nothing, because they determine the value, and the value is placed on this idea of capitalism, which has zero value, but because they have the control of the market, so we get the short end of the stick. So I have to say that, and I didn't really have much questions. I just really had to say that.
Yeah, so Archie, I think you got a good point there. There's a lot you said. I'm not going to touch on all of it, but I'm going to touch on a little bit of it, which is that I know Adua, I know the coin, I know the project, I know the team. I'm glad that it's an African diaspora owned coin, and I support them, and they actually, give updates on our platform, on the Telegram group as well. So I'm happy to see that. There are different use cases. I think Odua, the more of us support it, the more it's going to have the potential to be, like you said, a Pan-African type coin, which is great, right? It's not going to replace Bitcoin because other countries are going to use Bitcoin. That's not going away, right? So just like you have to exchange between dollars and yen today, you're going to have to exchange, let's say Odua does really well, you're going to have to exchange between Odua and Bitcoin or Odua and Ethereum. That's still going to happen, right? Now, do I support Odua? Absolutely. But it has a different use case. I know you came in later, but I went through different use cases, right? And so the different use cases for different coins, Odua has the potential to be a Pan-African coin. I agree with that completely. Is it going to be the only coin out there? I don't think it is, right? So I'm going to put that out there. So I think, yes, absolutely support the project. I think it's a great project. However, at the same time, also be realistic that there will be other coins out there, okay?
I absolutely agree there will be other coins out there, but I think sometimes in the world of understanding politics, because I think sometimes we detach politics from business, and you can never detach them. They're very intertwined. They're one of the same, right? They drive each other. And I think there is a difference saying, hey, let's be real versus let's be proactive. Like we have to be proactive on the platform for ourselves, right? We have to be able to, we cannot stop other coins that are coming out there. That is very true. It's impossible. But how can we create, because at one point in the world, we had real isolation, right? Africa had its own idea of currency, and it was valuable. When European came, they trade within those currency. They never brought European currency to trade with Africa. They had to change those currency at the border and then come in with the African currency, because that was the important currency on the continent. So how can we make that happen? So instead of us saying there will be currency out there will be currency out there, absolutely. But how can we make sure that our currency is important within our domain, that when you come in our domain, our currency, it is the currency you use. Like in China, they use capitalism on the international platform, but within China, they don't use capitalism in China. Why? Because they want to make sure that currency is very important within that space. And this is what Africa needs to drive. It is very important. Politics and business are one in the same thing. You cannot detach them. For us to gain strength, because it's tiring to see Africa where it is, we need to start to shift our mindset. That's really one of the reasons why I really want to come on this platform, because I feel like we're pushing other things and saying, let's just think in general, when the West think in a vacuum for themselves, and we have to think in the vacuum for ourselves as well, and also be looking at what's happening around us.
I think you got some good points there, and that's a discussion we need to continue. Let me go on to the next question here. Blessing, what was your question?
Thank you, guys. Hey, I'm really new at this cryptocurrency stuff. What I've seen that there's different platforms. There's Binance, and for example, and Paxful. Now, my question is, all these platforms, which one is the best to use? Which one do you recommend? There's quite a few.
So I think it depends on where you are and who you are. And right, I mean, for me, I'm not using Binance because I'm American, so I can't use it basically. For Sanjay, have other platform. What I don't know, Sanjay, your suggestions.
So yes, you can. What I would suggest is go to CoinGecko, and on CoinGecko there is a list of all the spot exchanges. So the top 10 like is Binance, Coinbase, Bitfinex, Kraken, Crypto.com, Gemini. Gemini is only for the US. So you can, I use Binance because it is the world's #1 exchange. Where are you from, Blessing?
I'm in New Zealand.
Okay, so Binance works in New Zealand, because why I use Binance is purely because it is the #1 exchange. So, but saying that 2 weeks ago, Binance was down for nearly 12 hours, and actually my heart froze for a while because my entire wallet was zero, but it came up again, right?
So when you guys say Binance is that platform, it's also your wallet, am I right?
No, it is not my wallet, but yes, I have kept it in Binance for the coins I trade. If I don't trade, I take it and store it in my cold wallet or my software wallet.
All right. And and how do you get a cold wallet? Where do you go?
Tracer, and I'll share an article on wallets on this. I think there is a slide here also, but I'll share you a small article from my blog, which you can check on the. Or I've done an article on the wallets. I'll share it on this link. Yeah.
And I just have one more question. Sorry. So let's just say you join Binance, and you want to switch to another platform, because maybe I'm not happy with Binance. Is that possible, or once I join, I join one place?
No. For example, I trade in 3 platforms actually. I use HBTC because some coins are not available in some platforms. So I use HBTC and and Binance. So you can shift it. There is no problem. You can have multiple.
I got a friend who's got he uses I think it's called Local Bitcoin or something like that platform.
Yes.
What's your take on that one?
Yeah, so Local Bitcoin is actually a P2p platform. It is for you to buy and sell crypto. They don't have, from the last I checked, they don't have trading in it. But for example, if you want to buy crypto on P2p platform, which I showed, where you send you buy the Bitcoin from someone and then you transfer the money to a local bank transfer. You can use Local Bitcoin. It's very popular. It's accepted globally.
Yep. And I'm gonna go. Sorry, Blessing, did you have any more on that? Was that any more of your question?
No, thank you. Where can I find information about you guys? Where can I go?
So I'm on screen there, and then if you look in the chat, there's a Telegram group. Join there. We're all in there. You can ask any questions you want.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
And Blessing, I just shared an article on the chat on Bitcoins.lk. Okay. It's all about wallets.
Thank you.
Rosemary, do you have another question? Or you just kept your hand up?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know how to put my hand down.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I'll put it down for you.
So we're going to close it out. We're almost at 3 a.m. here. For you guys, I guess it's about 7, but for us, it's 3 in the morning. So any final comments or thoughts, Sanjay?
No, I'm okay. Pretty interesting discussion. I think all of you hopefully would have learned quite a lot in the area, and be in touch with us. We are all in the group of the Wakanda group, so feel free to reach out anytime to myself, John, and Kishi.
Kishi, any last thoughts or comments you want to add?
No, John, I was just wondering if you could make a comment regarding availability of this recording. A number of people had asked about that.
Okay, so I'm planning to get it tomorrow, which is actually ready tomorrow here, but planning to have it available probably tomorrow. at latest. So probably Sunday or early on Monday should be available, and we'll let you guys know where you can get it on the different sites. Okay. And then I was going to make a last couple comments as well. I think it was Argili's point about the Pan-African currency. I think that's a great idea. I think that we do need to be moving in that direction. I do want people to keep in mind from a financial systems perspective, right? I talked about the economics. I'm not going to go deeply into it here, but there's a lot of wealth that's left Africa and gone into the West. We have to have a pathway for that to come back into Africa and into the developing world. Okay. So while we can definitely have a currency that is only our own, which is awesome, we also have to have a currency or a way that we connect that to be able to bring the currency back and bring, you know, funds and wealth back from Western countries back into Africa. And I think that's very important. So you have to have both and. You have to have a way to transact among Africa and the diaspora, but you also have to have a way to bring wealth from the rich Western countries where a lot of our wealth is gone, actually, and you have to be able to bring that back into the developing world. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's both and when you start thinking about how to make those changes. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Please join us in the Telegram group. We'll look forward to doing more sessions with you guys, with Dr. Harnett, the Wakanda meetups. We should also have an encore session next week and the recording. So thanks a lot. Have a great evening. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
gents. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, thank you.